Here, Jason Wilde.
There aren't any Jasons 12 and under. That's a dead name.
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
How many kids do you hear, hey, Marky, it might be almost to the point of Ruth?
Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios in downtown Milwaukee at the 3rd Street Market Hall.
You love that name so much, you don't even go by it.
If you call me Mark, I'm fine. I like my name. I like my name a lot.
This is Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch.
It's Wilde Touch, isn't it?
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It is the Monday edition. The Wilde family conducted an egg hunt after 12 noon yesterday and managed not to be detained by the Easter authorities edition. We are in the quieter time of the schedule. I'm hoping maybe we talk to some coaches this week. We're going to talk about players that you would like to see long-term on the Packers roster edition. And the simple question for Jesse and Tausch. I rewatched a game that I already watched yesterday because there was nothing else that I was finding as I surfed through channels. Do people do this? I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And it was a waste of time, quite frankly, when you know the outcome. Edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course everything you need on the amazing, fantastic, stupendous, all free, all customizable, and all awesome ESPN Wisconsin app, which you can find both in the Apple and Android app stores. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios after hosting a Easter celebration. And from his undisclosed location, which is now disclosed as the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, it is the Packers Hall of Famer. It's Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I am going to go back and amend because for some reason Jesse retweeted my take on, I don't understand why that was a retweet, but none ever is the case. I was wrong about the Easter egg hunt. Who am I to tell people when they can do an Easter egg hunt?
Well, you're you.
No, but I decided I was wrong, and I'm pulling back all of that quote that I had on, I guess that was on Friday.
Good Friday.
So I'm glad you guys had your Easter egg hunt. I'm glad Jesse, everybody had their Easter egg hunt. I have completely rescinded my initial take on Easter egg hunts. Just because our family has done it a certain way doesn't mean I should impose that upon others, and I am pulling back. I was wrong. Thank you for my time.
Whoa. The thank you for my time was a capper. I enjoyed that. So did the Tauschers have an Easter egg hunt?
No,
yesterday?
ironically enough, Eleanor did put eggs out, and we found one from 5 years ago, which was good.
Hope it wasn't something perishable.
No, the little baby candy bar that was in there was not probably edible. But outside of that, there is still, well, I'm not going to get into it. There's still one egg out there from way back that has, if it had a Bitcoin in it, I think we'd probably look harder. But there's one that we're missing. I thought, I actually text my brother Craig, who usually puts the eggs out, that we found it. And then as we got into more detail, we found out that was one of Eleanor's from a prior egg hunt. So I want to apologize to all of our Easter lovers and the egg hunt. I was wrong.
So I guess I didn't spend any time on social media. So Jesse, you put Tausch on blast for his take, and he got some backlash. Is that what I'm understanding?
I didn't see any backlash.
There's no backlash. I was wrong. I'm not an idiot up here. I can look back and say, yeah, I was wrong. I was feeling my Easter vibes, how we do it. I like and appreciate how our family handles it. It's fun. But I was wrong. So there you go.
I
Okay.
did say it was one of the worst takes of the week, and on a week that was full of bad takes, mostly from me, I thought your Easter take was pretty bad. So that was what I shared on social media.
All good. Yeah, it wasn't great.
There
It
it
turns
is.
out it wasn't great, and I was probably wrong.
Okay, well, I got to be honest.
That's a twist.
This is.
It's a
I
twist.
did not
When
see this coming.
Listen, when I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not
but-
one of these idiots that sits up here. I'm not going to double down on a bad bet. Like sometimes you lose and you move on. I lost. I moved on.
I first of all, I admire the fact that you are taking this approach. I didn't realize that you were going to do that because we actually had our Easter egg hunt, and while the girls were out searching for eggs, I was thinking, oh boy, it's 12:45. Do I have to be concerned?
Getting too
And
late.
at some point during the weekend, you had changed your position, unbeknownst to me, while we were.
No, what I'm
taking
more annoyed
part.
about is so we went to church yesterday, and for whatever reason, we had a couple people straggling in our family, and so three of us decided we're going to go get seats because, as we know, Christmas and Easter full churches. Like it's just
Full
it is
capacity,
what it is.
standing room.
So we got there, and we sat in our normal seats. And there's usually other people that we will sit. It's kind of like going to a baseball game. If you have season tickets, you get there and you'll see them.
How early did you get there?
Only 15 minutes early. So it wasn't bad. And we had plenty of seats. And then about 10:25, we went to a 10:30 Mass. It was like Jimmy Jam. Of course, the two folks in our family that were late showed up real late because they couldn't find parking and everything else. And the amount of annoyance, we saved 2 spots. And this guy comes in, and we had Grandma on the far left side. I sat in the middle. And then Eleanor kind of sat in the third spot. So you can deduct who was the slow pokes in the group. So there's 2 spots. And this guy at 10:30 has the audacity to say, oh, we're saving seats, huh? I'm like,
In church?
Just move it along, big fella. Yeah, we're going to save seats. We got here early. We're not taking up a full row. I think 2 seats when you have 3 there is more than and plus there are other seats. It wasn't like this was brimmed. Like, just sit down and let's move it along. So,
He said that in church?
yeah.
Now, in fairness,
Not very Christ-like. He is risen. He is risen indeed. It's supposed to be what you say to each other. Not, are we saving seats?
it did back in the day when I would go with my mom and dad when I was a kid on Christmas Eve or on Easter. It did drive us pretty nuts if you're there 15 minutes, 20 minutes early, and someone's got an entire pew reserved, and they say this
That's 2
one's
seats.
reserved.
That's not an entire
So,
pew.
I think there is a line where reserving seats is a little ridiculous, but I don't think you crossed it yesterday. I just don't know where that. I don't know where that line is.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you approved.
Did you just acknowledge that you only went to church on Christmas and Easter? Is that what just happened there?
No. That's just,
Okay,
those
you
are
were
the-
there every Sunday, good little boy that you are.
No offense to the fourth Sunday in May, but it's not Christmas or Easter. Like it's like going to a Tuesday night Brewers game versus Memorial Day against the Cardinals. Like it's a little different crowd,
It's the Rockies in town on a Tuesday 6:05 start. Maybe you don't go.
Like the
Okay,
Rays
I see how it is.
the Rays last Tuesday night is not going to draw the same as the Cubs on a Friday in June. Like they're different games.
Fair.
Okay. Jesse, you were hosting Easter, I was told, right?
We
You were
did, yeah. Big
You were very
success.
excited about Musty Mac, which is an Easter tradition, I'm sure.
No, mimosas were a big hit. We don't normally do mimosas at the family.
Is there a photo of you drinking a mimosa?
Oh, I
Because I would
love-
love to place that on social
I
media.
love mimosas. Some of my biggest days on vacations have been mimosa days. So yeah, we had a few yesterday. We had a good time.
I love mimosas. Jesse Nelson.
I do. They're one of my favorite beverages. We didn't do a traditional Easter egg hunt because a lot of our family that got together, it's kind of an older
adults.
crowd. And so we did a variation of it. We wanted to do an Easter egg game where everybody was involved, but we didn't want to do a traditional egg hunt. So we had a wheel where you spun the wheel There was more discussion of what the game was going to be than there was what the food was going to be over the week. Like, I was driving Becca nuts trying to come up with the rules for what our game was going to be. I think we landed on a good one. You spun the wheel, and then whatever the wedge color was coordinated with one of the eggs that was in the basket. So if you spin the wheel and it lands on red, then you pick a red egg and you open it up. And then it either had like a dollar bill, a lottery ticket, a candy, or each color had a rotten egg where you had to like give someone a high five or give the dog a treat. And nothing for you. So that was a big hit. That went over very well with our family. So I would highly recommend that for families in similar situations where you don't want to do a traditional egg hunt.
And what did you serve?
Great game.
What was the meal?
Ham. Love ham. Cheesy potatoes, ham, asparagus. Becca made these chicken salad croissants, which I am not a fan of chicken salad, but apparently the rest of the family was because they went over very well. So, and then we had more desserts than we knew what to do with. A lot of. What do you do with leftovers?
Anybody take stuff home?
Yes. What do you do with leftovers for the family gathering?
Containers
we did. I have advocated for so long. We get these to-go containers.
Did you put anything up online and try to have people come by?
We did.
You should have plubered.
If only there was a pluber.
If only there was a pluber. We have to-go containers down in the basement. And I always say, whenever we get food to go from places,
I saw those. Those are nice.
Them,
They're right by your freezer.
Yeah, they were. Now we're out. We need a new stash because we sent them all home yesterday. Is it IPT for a guest to ask to take the to-go food from the holiday? Because, there was some stuff that we kind of were hoping to keep more of that, aunts and uncles were like, hey, we'd love to take some of this. We're like, oh, okay, sure. And then we're like, oh.
Like grabbing a bottle of bourbon out of your bar?
No. Like the cheesy potatoes or the some of the desserts that we were hoping to keep around. Like, I think if the host opens it up and is like, anybody want to take anything to go, you can be like, yeah, I'll take some of that. I'll take some of that. But if you just say, I want to take the Polish sausage.
Is that what they wanted to take?
That was one of the items.
They took this Polish sausage.
Well, and then
all right, can I get a couple of details here? Because I'm a detail guy, dazzling detail guy. How many people were there?
We had about 20 total.
And did people bring a dish to pass, or was it purely provided by you, Becca, and Mo?
We provided the dinner, and we asked everybody to bring an appetizer or a dessert.
So you provided the Polish sausage.
The Polish sausage was a whole thing, because my dad makes the Polish sausage. That's his tradition on Easter. He makes the Polish sausage, and it's usually an appetizer, and people love it.
The Polish sausage Easter tradition.
They come in our living room. We have. You know how there's living rooms where the top outlet is connected to a switch and you can plug a lamp in or whatever and do that. Well, my mom plugged it into one of the top outlets to warm it up, and it never warmed up for the appetizer. It was ice cold and minutes before we were going to eat it, where she's wondering why no one was going to eat it. So then,
like a Polish popsicle.
So we're getting ready. It's like crunch time. Things are coming in and out of the oven. We're getting everything out of the we are minutes away from eating, and she's trying to get in the way in the kitchen. Go, hey, we got to warm up the Polish sausage, and she's dancing around trying to get that all taken care of. But we're like, you got to get out of here. So we ended up. The Polish sausage went out as a side, essentially, with the dinner, and not many people ate it. But then there was availability for leftovers, and I was hoping to get a lot of it. Didn't
Chris
work out.
in the YouTube comments wondering if you ordered pizza then.
That is interesting.
The time everyone wanted to eat. That's a callback for those of you that listen regularly and Jesse's problems. So you had cold Polish sausage for Easter, and you never got your pizza for a game. You had
missed the entire third quarter of the Packers-Bears game getting that stupid pizza.
Have you considered not hosting?
I don't think us hosting is the issue, Jason. I don't know. There might be another common denominator here. I don't know if anyone wants to point to that.
You blaming your mom?
Entirely,
That's what he just did.
Entirely.
Okay.
The other appetizers were out just fine.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. I hope you all had a blessed Easter and enjoyed your time with family and your Polish popsicle that wasn't cooked. We had a lovely time as well, and now we're ready to get back to work. I am hopeful, although uncertain, whether we will speak to some Packers assistant coaches this week. Hopefully they don't try to schedule it on Wednesday, because that would create a conflict for me, because we have big plans to go down to the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. But I did want to get into something that I suggested last week, and that is you're seeing a lot of extensions. The Jacksonville Jaguars signed one of their stud defensive players to a lengthy and expensive extension. And I'm wondering if there's anybody that's beyond the obvious that the Packers need to be considering. We'll get into that after Tausch tells us about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
And if you've been putting off replacing your windows and doors, now is the time, because Pella of Wisconsin is offering 0% interest financing all the way to 2030. That's right, you get zero interest all the way till 2030. And in Wisconsin, if your home will take a beating year-round. We saw that all month of March. We're seeing it in April. The right windows and doors, they can improve comfort, they can boost your energy efficiency, and they will upgrade your home's look. Pella's experts will help you find the perfect fit for your home in your budget, and with zero interest all the way till 2030. You can upgrade now and pay over time without paying a dime in interest. Don't wait. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
Maybe that's not what we're going to talk about next. From Evan Flood 4 minutes ago, Badgers star guard John Blackwell will enter the transfer portal?
Yeah, he entered it last year, too.
And go through the NBA draft process per ESPN. So he did that last year and ended up coming back. Is this something to be concerned about?
I think he's going to be gone. I think his numbers are going to be pretty substantial. He's a stud.
Yeah, he is. He's a very good
He's
player.
a stud.
Top programs
so
will come look for him.
I would think he's going to probably double what he made last year, and I don't know if Wisconsin will be in the ball game of dumping all of their eggs in that particular basket.
Okay. Well, I'd like to have that explained to me further. I guess it's just economics. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll talk about the economics of the Packers roster. That's all coming up. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
Named by me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and you can take action locally. Join La Causa on April 13th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Blue Tender, a special fundraising event at Blue at the Pfister, supporting La Causa's Crisis Nursery, southeastern Wisconsin's only shelter providing emergency care for children in crisis. Enjoy a night out while giving back, with 100% of tips and 10% of bar sales donated, and all proceeds matched. Make your impact go twice as far. Visit lacausa.org for details.
Put Brewers weekends back on your schedule when the Crew take on the Nationals April 10th through the 12th. Collect a new Mish trading card bobblehead for the first 25,000 fans on Saturday the 11th, courtesy of Toyota. Then reserve Sunday for a full day of family fun. Kids can run the bases, get autographs, and the first 5,000 kids get a Brewers wiffle ball set, courtesy of Joy. Plus, it's a kids cheer free Sunday. Grab your seat at brewers.com/tickets.
Legacy? Yingling, 197 years family owned. That's elite. But legends evolve. Meet Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Just 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and it actually tastes like beer. Crisp, clean, goes the distance. No regret in a can here. Your beer should keep up with you. Flight's putting up MVP numbers in the light beer game. The other guys on the bench. Wisconsin, level up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal and Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal and Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies, they're part of their community. Personalized American Family Insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal and Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal and Associates at teamgrimal.com.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods in New Berlin is the baseball lover's destination with a massive state-of-the-art indoor training facility featuring hit tracks with precision analytics, a huge open turf area, and all the best training equipment you need. So get in here and get ready to get better. And we'll help you with this special offer. Buy 20 batting cage credits for $30. That's 25% off. This is Brian Burkhardt, and if you love baseball and softball like we do, you can't beat Burkhardt. 153rd and National. If you plan on draining buzzer beaters, the place to start is Burkhardt, where you'll find a great selection of residential basketball hoops from the best brand, Gorilla. We'll handle the installation and take care of everything to make it easy from start to finish. And right now when you buy from Burkhardt, standard hoop installation is half price. You can't beat that. This is Brian Burkhardt, and when you love basketball like we do, you can't beat Burkhardt.
Got your tax refund? Before it mysteriously disappears, invested in something you'll actually see every day, your home. At Exterior Pros and Baths, turn that refund into energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath remodel. And they'll take it even further with $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during the April savings event. But don't wait, this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths, big savings done right.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
So I'm being told by a avid listener and source that I trust, but we'll fact check him anyway, that last year Blackwell tested the NBA waters but did not enter the portal. So this is different than last year.
I think he was in the portal too, but if your source is really strong, I'll take their word for it.
Well, I asked him to fact check himself to make sure that that's accurate.
But who's your source?
Well,
Okay.
Can we wait and see if he's accurate first?
Okay. Yeah.
Because if he's wrong, then I don't want to.
If it's Greg Gard, I'm going to say Greg's right.
It is not Greg Gard.
Okay. Is it Isaac Gard?
It is not. Is
it Michelle Gard?
It's not a guard.
There's no guard.
Is there an Alex Gard? I don't think so, but there is an Alex Strofe. Blackwell originally declared for the draft in April while maintaining his college eligibility, using the draft process to gain valuable feedback from NBA scouts and decision makers. After going through those evaluations, he decided his best move for now is to run it back at Wisconsin. He did not enter the portal. All right, so Josh DiMaggio, who I don't have to protect his identity, he's reporting from what he's read that he's looking at perhaps $4 million to make next season at another school. Can I just, again, say I don't love where we're at with this game, and I like John Blackwell. I enjoy watching him play basketball, and I will be disappointed when he's playing at some other collegiate institution next year, because that sucks. And I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about wanting players to get what they deserve and seeing how this – wasn't it Tretch Kekahuna last year, going into last season, who went into the portal, reportedly got his existing situation improved and then returned?
That sounds right, yeah.
This Tausch, you're in the heart of this, right? You played college sports in a different era. You are the radio analyst. You know the game. You certainly are happy that players are able to get compensated. Do you struggle with this, or is it just me and like normal people that don't understand what's going on?
I mean, I think there's from a fan standpoint, you want your team and organization to do well. I don't think you're interested as much as somebody's making an extra $1.5 million. So I understand kind of that point, but the bottom line is the NCAA screwed up big time, and they're now kind of paying the piper. The collegiate sports programs that have done things a certain way for a long time are now, their leverage is gone. So until they can get things figured out and find a system that both sides can make work, this is the new normal, and you either adjust or you cry about it. Thankfully, Greg Gard and the Wisconsin Badgers aren't crying about it. They're saying, all right, if this is indeed the case, they know what's going on. They have conversations throughout the season and trying to figure out how to secure people and what that's going to take. You have to find a way to get it where these players are signing contracts. And to do that without being state employees and without, that it is a messy deal, and it all lands at the feet of the people before them that continued to suppress any type of, not letting a guy have a bagel with cream cheese. That, I think, was the beginning of all of this. And so when you do that, now when you've lost control, why would the players ever give in? At some point, the system will, implode. And then I don't know how you approach that afterwards. But as far as this is the new normal. John Blackwell, thank you for your last couple of seasons. You were fantastic last year. It was a lot of fun. Boyd, and I don't know what's going to end up happening, as far as Nolan Winter. You now have the same, without a salary cap and without the collectively bargained agreement that your players in the NFL have, you are basically having to make decisions like an NFL and like a professional team. And does that make some of us that are older maybe a little crestfallen? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but get over it. It's done. So I want John Blackwell to go and make as much money as he can. And if Wisconsin feels like he is worth the $4 or $5 million or whatever that number is going to end up being, great. Bring him back. He knows the system. It'd be awesome.
Right.
And if that is indeed not the case and he goes and he plays somewhere else, will I be bummed from a fan standpoint? Certainly. But from a overall business standpoint, don't get mad at John.
I'm not mad at him. If he was my kid and he said, Dad, what do you think I should do? I'm going to say, no, you should stay at a school that is potentially, let's just say for argument's sake, he's at $1 million. And he has a chance to go and get $4 million somewhere else. I'm going to say, no, son, you should stay there. No, I'm not mad at the players. Let me be clear. But my problem with this is and this is what we were planning on talking about until this came across my desk. I know Christian Watson is going to be a free agent because I know his contract situation, right? I know Tucker Kraft is going into the last year of his deal. I know Lucas Van Ness, before May 1st, the Packers have to decide whether to give him the fifth-year option or not. I don't expect them to do so. So he will be in a contract year. If you know that the players are in a contract year, fine, right? And then they have an opportunity to hit the market and find out what they're going to make. I just don't understand how we're this far. How long ago was it that we had Gardo on 1 week and like we had Alvarez on either 2 weeks earlier or 2 weeks after? And this conversation was almost the same. They both used the Wild Wild West reference. And I feel like we should be further down the path of having some structure to how this works. Is that
we have
unreasonable for me?
We do have structure. Everybody's a free agent every year and every team. So deal with it. And until someone in a NCAA or organizing committee, I don't know who that is going to be. They don't have anybody. So you either deal with it or you cry about it. And luckily we have guys and people in place that aren't going to just sit and cry about it. They're going to do something about it. And I don't know when the system is going to change. The system will change when it implodes. It is not going to change because people are trying to find things out, or if you're, there's not going to be some magic wand that is waved. You better figure it out. And the way it's going to be figured out is everybody's losing a ton of money. that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like college athletics may be more popular than it's ever been because we love the drama. I don't love it as much from a consistency and a build standpoint, but let me be if Wisconsin feels like these players are going to continue to help them win, they're going to pay for them.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they won't. And if they can't afford to, the tough part is somebody else will. And is it a system that is sustainable? No, it's not. But this system, until enough people say we can't pull this off, it's going to just keep rolling. It's not going to stop.
I'm not crying about it, and I certainly don't want Greg Gard to be crying about it. And I agree with you, he's not. He's saying, all right, if this is how it's going to be, let's go find the next Boyd. Let's go find the next Tanjay. I get it. My point is simply that it would be nice if the NCAA, which ruled with such an iron fist, as you so eloquently pointed out, that a dude couldn't get a bagel and cream cheese given to him at the time you were playing, and you're scraping by money to get, $1 burger night. They're still trying to have some sort of sway over rules of different, still issuing against coaches or whatever it might be. I don't understand why the power structure can't figure it out. Again, I am not against players. I don't like the way the system is set up. I think that there's a reasonable way to go about it. My understanding was the president wrote an executive order that was supposed to be out there. I don't know how enforceable that is. Josh in Denver, Blackwell's dad played at Illinois in the 80s. I knew that. And they'll need a talented guard after losing Wagler. I expect to see him in orange next year. Remember who was the kid that left Wisconsin to go to Iowa and Bo wouldn't let him out of his... Boy, we've come a long way since then. We'll talk a little bit about Illinois and the Final Four and tonight's championship game later, after Tausch tells us about his big Beat Tausch contest with Annex Wealth Management.
Indeed, I am going to challenge all of y'all. We're going to throw it down next Tuesday, April 14th at noon. Stepping into the ring, you can beat Old T. I've done a lot. I've blocked linemen. I've blocked shots. I've blocked pickleball. I've done it all when it comes to that, but I'm daring you to step up and take me down on money, on markets, and investing and building real wealth. And if you think you know about the economy, you think you can handle questions on taxes, investments, and financial smackdowns, bring it on. I want every entrepreneur, business owner, serious wealth builder watching to register right now. Get in the ring. We're going to go rapid fire. No mercy. No safe space. It's just pure financial literacy combat. You're going to land the winning move and beat Old T? Well, or are you going to get pinned, tapped out? I think you're going to get pinned. The choice is yours. Register today. Show up ready. Bring your best game because on April 14th, that's next Tuesday, right after the show, the bell rings, the questions fly, and we're going to find out again who the winner is. And if you are indeed the winner, you're going to come out with great prizes. I'm going to get an updated list on all of those prizes. But until then, you register at annexwealth.com to get in on this action. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to get an opportunity not only to beat me around a little bit, but also to take home some great prizes from our friends at Annex Wealth Management.
No mercy. Was that
dribble,
inspired by that play that you guys called?
Yeah, it didn't work. Yep.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. One of my favorite plays in the playbook. The Final Four is the final two in the national championship game between Michigan and UConn is tonight. You gonna watch? You interested? Talk about it next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Win big with Quick Trip's Red Zone Midwest Tour. You could drive away in a 2026 Chevrolet Traverse Z71. Want in? Stop into Quick Trip. Purchase any qualifying fried chicken or Coca-Cola product with Quick Rewards, and you're automatically entered. Want to boost your odds? Grab both in the same stop, and you'll score 5 bonus entries. Full details at QuickTrip.com/Red Tour. Delicious chicken, ice cold Coca-Cola, and one incredible ride. Quick Trip's Red Zone Midwest Tour.
What if your screens could disappear until you needed them? Meet Palla's 250 series vinyl windows with the accordion hidden screen. Designed to give you a clearer view with 44% more light than conventional screens. The hidden screen appears when the window opens to let in fresh air, then tucks away when you don't need it, giving you a clearer view that's beautiful, practical, and even easier to clean. Order today and get 0% interest until 2030. Visit PallaWI.com today.
1896, Horicon Bank first opened its doors. Wisconsin wasn't even 50 years old.
We've maintained our roots over the years and yet expanded.
We empower our people to invest in the community. We give them 40 hours of volunteer time.
We're doing it with a personal touch, with a desire to say yes to our customers.
You shouldn't have to work with a bank that sends their profits to New York City or Toronto. You can keep your money here and it benefits Wisconsin.
Horicon Bank, together doing good for 130 years. Member FDIC.
Looking for a dinner that actually impresses and cocktails that keep the conversation going? Head to the second floor of St. Kate the Arts Hotel and discover the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails. Bold, elevated dinners, thoughtfully crafted cocktails. It's the kind of place where every plate and every pour is made with intention. Come for dinner, stay for another round. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike at the nation's largest bike sale. I'm Amelia Kegel with Wheel and Sprocket, and our Bike Expo sale is back at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds this weekend inside the Expo building. Electric bikes, road bikes, cargo bikes, mountain bikes, kid bikes, hybrid bikes, all on display and ready to ride. So whether you're seeking health and wellness, adventure and fun, or just a new hobby, the path to your new journey leads to the Bike Expo sale. And remember, all of our bikes come with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, which means you can ride it for 30 days. And if you don't love it, we'll refund your money.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike. Friday noon to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 11 to 5 inside the Expo Center. Visit bikeexposale.com for details. Admission is free.
Life is short. We'll see you at the Bike Expo.
When you're getting married, the rings matter. There's something you wear for a lifetime. That's why my fiance and I went to Paul's Jewelers. Paul's Jewelers specializes in custom jewelry for life's biggest moments. Lab-grown or natural diamonds, great pricing, and a lifetime warranty, so your jewelry can be refurbished, repaired, or refitted anytime down the road. Their team made the entire process easy and stress-free. I can't wait to show off my wedding band after our big day. Create your masterpiece today by visiting Paul's Jewelers in West Allis.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
I love reading the YouTube comments, as you well know. I also enjoy when they're doing their own shows. Jim is ranking the top 5 NFL quarterbacks right now.
Oh.
He's got Josh Allen 1, Jordan Love 2, Matthew Stafford 3, Joe Burrow 4, and Lamar Jackson 5.
Yeah, no, Jordan's not top 2. Not yet.
Which I wasn't expecting. Rudy trying to help me out with that Iowa transfer from Wisconsin. No, not Sam Oakey. It was during the Bo era. His name was Jared Utoff. I do remember that. And Jesse, you got a text on the Carbless Talk and text line 844-770-3776 that I don't want to prejudge it, but the way you mentioned it, it seems a bit extreme as a way to react to the way college sports are going.
It's from John in Menominee Falls. John writes, I realize I'm just one person, but I no longer watch Badger football or basketball. I can't follow who's on the team, and I can't build up any hopes or expectations for the next year of them improving because you never even know who will be on the roster. They've lost me, and I don't think I'll ever come back. I've found better things to do with my time.
Well, John's in Menominee Falls. Hope he's heading over to the Pickler. That'd be great.
It's a great facility.
I get what I understand where John's coming from, and I'm guessing John's, and
Not
I think
alone.
he's probably older. There is something romantic about watching, players develop, grow, and then evolve into these spots. And I know the kid. I've seen him grow, and there's something you really enjoy about that. That era's gone, man. Like I get it. There is this. We'd love to cling to that, but that's not the reality of where we're at in college athletics, and that's completely the NCAA's fault. So if you want to get mad about it, you can get mad at them. There's no reason to get mad at players. They're finally getting the opportunity that all of us that played wished we would have had. I can remember one of the older players when I first got to Wisconsin. Listen, man, I was excited to pay. I mean, I was paying for 2 years. I paid full freight to go to school here, and I was happy about it. But there were, this guy did a study on what we were getting paid when you started looking at the scholarship and everything else, and it was a crazy case study where it's basically we weren't even making minimum wage. And there's all the arguments. I still believe the system. They should start charging the players for the tuition. If you want to start balancing it out, okay, well, we're going to pay you $1.5 million, but you have to pay your own school. Well, the players don't have to do that yet. But there's going to be a time where you have to start balancing some of that. I don't know how that's going to shake out. But right now, players have the leverage that none of us ever had or we never used. And I give them a ton of credit for finding a way. It took a lot of years in court to get to where it's at. And there's a lot of fans like John. I have to be honest. Was at the Badger Hoops game, and the football team came out and did their dance thing with the cheer squad. Didn't know any of them. The names, but at that point, no practices. So does that make it tougher for fans to stay connected? Absolutely it does. It's up to the athletic department and the team to make sure they better be out selling themselves as a program, because it's no longer rubber stamp. There's a lot of folks like John that are looking at this and saying, I have other places to spend my money. I don't feel as connected. So how you as a program change that? You better win. And you better be competent and really good at what you're doing. Because if you're not, people will not be as patient sticking with a group than they would have been in the past. Because now it is more mercurial. And when you have that, people are much less committed, both as players and as fans. And is that a good thing? Absolutely not, but that is where we're at.
So, I know you're not a Jay Billis guy, but you are a solutions guy. One of the things that you are great at, and that is not hyperbole, and I have tried to apply this because I've learned it from you. Don't just tell me what the problem is. Work on a solution. So the Big Ten and the SEC, who are the big boys on the block, and the NCAA listen to our show regularly, and they say, you know who we need to get as our college czar? That Mike Trouser guy. And so they call you and they say, all right, fix this for us. You've got a reputation for fixing things. What are you telling them? Because I was just reading, so the president's plan, you get 1 transfer, you get 5 years to play 4. Like, I don't know if I don't know if that's tenable. I don't know how that's going to work. It seems like it's going to be challenged in courts and everything else. So you get carte blanche to fix the whole damn thing. What are you doing? What do you think is the most equitable, that is fair for players, but allows people like John to maybe stay invested in their favorite college sports program?
I think the best solution is to sign binding contracts that are voidable if coaches leave. And if you want to sign a 1-year commitment, both parties have to agree. The university has to agree that we think it makes sense for you to come here for 2 or 3 years. And if we as an administration keep the coaches, and that's the case, but then again, if you bring in a new offensive coordinator and it's a different setup, I would love for you to say you only get 1 transfer, but no, I mean, coaches can leave whenever they want.
Correct.
I think the idea of having a contract, but even in the old days, scholarships were 1 year at a time. There weren't 5-year now they were very rarely ever cutting guys, but they would try to run guys out. So there needs to be some type of we're committing to you, because when you're going to use resources to recruit and do all the things and bring them in and do that, and you're going to build them up and do this stuff, there needs to be some kind of payout on the other end of it. And as long as your program is stable, stability should be rewarded. But as a player, I'm not changing one thing from where we're at. You better come to something real sweet with me, because if you don't, I love where it's at right now because I have complete autonomy. And the only way that changes if that money dries up and all of a sudden guys aren't getting it and you're going to start. And I don't think that's happening because there is a ton of cash. And now you're talking about state governments getting involved in funding things. That changes things too. So if I had a great solution, I would have proposed it. I don't think there is. From a player's perspective, I love what we're doing. I don't want to change anything.
And if let's say the NCAA somehow had the power after talking to you to install a salary cap, because there's no collective bargaining because there's not a players union across college sports, then you would just have schools paying people under the table like the old days, right? Bagmen giving guys money illegally and seeing if you could get away with it. So I don't.
Would you have taken bag money if you were, like, let's say, a track athlete or whatever you would have been an athlete in?
Well, interesting that you chose track. That would be pretty far down the list for me. I would like to say I wouldn't have. I paid my way through school. I would like to say I wouldn't have, but I never faced that temptation. So if I was worth a significant amount of money, I probably would have had a hard time saying no.
So you're telling me you had had a great pole vault, and then Lenny came over with a little cash and said, "Man, that's a great effort today, Wilde. I know you got some stuff going on back home, and you've been paying your way. Here's a little something for you. You're not taking that brown paper bag?"
No, I probably would.
Yeah.
If I'm 21 years old.
I ain't gonna lie to you. The old system was better. The old system was better from that standpoint. But for players, the players have it made right now. And for so long, I'm naive enough to say I had it made. And I think most of the guys I played with would tell you they had it made. Well, almost all of us would. But that's the reality. It's, you don't know what you don't know. And now these guys know. And it's pretty dang good that you're getting a lot of guys that are making a couple $100,000. Some are making millions of dollars. And I would have loved for it to have been a true NIL where, hey, Zimbrick is going to get you a car and UW Credit Union is going to do this. That would have been ideal because that was the way this was set up. But that is not how this is working out. And, the only thing I don't like, and I don't think it's teaching great things I love it when people go out and earn it. Like if John Blackwell came here as a freshman, I don't want him making anything. I want him getting his scholarship and his red card money, and that's what I'd like for him to do. And then he goes and balls out. I want him getting paid because he's earned it.
Right.
This other stuff where it's already, I always thought, boy, guys are getting scholarships. They stink. They're kind of half blanking it.
Yeah.
That's always the part of this, and that's where donors and everybody else is looking at it and saying, what the heck did I get for?
What am I paying for?
And again, I just look back at like movies. Tom Cruise has put out enough great movies. I'm buying a ticket if I'm going to go see the next Top Gun. But when I get to the theater and I'm already buying overpriced popcorn and overpriced soda, I don't want, as you're walking in, a tin bucket saying, hey, you got to throw another 20 in for Tom. Like, just people aren't going to get on board.
Yeah,
that's
parallel.
the system of what we're doing right now. And I don't think people enjoy that.
Do you think, last thing, and then we'll play trivia. So you obviously worked your tail off to be a starter in your 5th season. Do you think that this structure creates chemistry issues, hard feelings, or whatever in the locker room based on what one guy's rumored to be getting versus someone else? Does it create dynamics in a locker room that, look, I'm not going to pretend that your locker room was perfect when you were a player either, right? There's sometimes issues between personalities and whatever else. But does this add another layer of potential friction in locker rooms because of the way this is, again, not really clearly adjudicated, and there's guys having bad feelings about one guy getting this and one guy getting that? Or don't you think that's an issue?
What do you think?
I think it's probably a pretty significant problem.
No doubt. And that's why, especially early in seasons now, when you're talking about the amount of new people coming in, it's a big issue. And I think especially if guys are making this and then you have somebody coming up and they're not making it, like it's just human nature. And I always try to relate this back. Athletes are obviously built different. But the psychology and the mentality, it's not a ton different than everybody else's workplace when it comes to jealousy, when it comes to I should be doing this, why am I being asked to work all this extra time, and Johnny over here still making all this other money. Like there are tiers, and everybody understands if there's guys balling out, nobody's going to say a word helping your team win. But if you're losing, and you don't feel like the effort is there. There are all of those dynamics that come into play, and that's why coaching and developing talent and keeping your team. And that's where I give Luke Fickell a ton of credit last year, because last year could have been implode city. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you from watching it. Now, I'm not in the locker room all the time, but just from watching it, to keep that team together. When you're talking about the offense struggling the way it did, and the defense balling out. I think one of the things, and I'm not trying to glaze Luke Fickell here, but what I would say is it was pretty dang impressive that you didn't have the splinters and the schisms and all of the other things that you would think you'd have. That group kept fighting and competing. I think that staff deserves a ton of credit for keeping that group together, finding some ways to win games and play as hard as they did in an era where it would have been that last year would have, if I was a defensive player on that team, I'm sure guys thought it. And I'm sure guys looked at it like, what the blank? Like, if we don't shut people out and score with the offense the way it played out, and to not have that should be a really positive sign for what you're hoping is going to be more talented and a better unified team than what we saw last year.
I know we've had this conversation a bunch over the years. I just think that when you talk about it, we're a lot smarter because of it, and I appreciate your insights. I know it feels like sometimes we're going around and round, but I think it's worthwhile because you and I both care about college athletics. And this John Blackwell story, I don't know where he's going to end up, but if that number is accurate, what Josh DiMaggio sent,
where do we least want him to end up?
Illinois, somewhere in the Big Ten, right?
Probably the two teams he's been most linked to, Illinois and Michigan.
Yeah.
All right, let's play some trivia. We'll shift gears to the Packers.
What kind of reception does he get? He comes back with Illinois. Are we booing the heck out of him? Are we throwing a tribute video up for him? What are we doing?
We're at the point now where in college athletics
he deserves
we
a
have to
tribute
think
video.
about these tribute videos.
He's a tribute video
If he goes
guy.
to Illinois or Michigan, you do a tribute video featuring highlights of him in the wins against Illinois or Michigan.
And then you boo the heck out of him all game.
Mm-hmm.
I want to apologize to Chucky Hepburn, too. I was hard on Chucky when he left. I thought it was a mistake, and I don't know where his head's at on how that decision was to go to Louisville, but it was a little early for me. I want to, not that he cares, but I'm going to apologize. And I think I always wondered, will we bring Chucky back for that fake 2020 national championship?
The 10-year anniversary of winning the title.
And I at first said, heck no. I'm going to rescind that. A big rescind day today for me. Bring him back.
You know, I heard Chucky actually did a Easter egg hunt yesterday in the afternoon as well, which is interesting.
I actually think I thought about it for more than 10 seconds. I think if Blackwell ended up going to a school that's on the same tier as Wisconsin in a different conference.
What if he goes to Marquette?
I mean, that'd be wild.
Be pretty crazy.
Like if he went to...
And Shaka said he's going to start taking transfers now.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Shaka, I go and I say to to Steve, the Homer True, who's a big donor there, we need some cash, baby. That's the move Shaka should make.
If he goes to like Xavier or Kansas State or something like that, where they put the cash in that Wisconsin does, that would be worst case scenario, because then there's an entire other conversation.
What do we care if he goes to Xavier?
Because if he's getting paid,
if he goes to Minnesota, or Iowa, now I'm like, oh boy.
If he gets paid by a school that's on the same tier as Wisconsin, then it becomes more about the program and the money than it does about him finding an opportunity.
Do we end up getting to a spot, if we continue to get outspent, that we view the Badger basketball team like we view the Brewers?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to be in that world, man.
No, I don't blame you. We need to play some trivia. Tausch is going to tell us about UW Credit Union, which we all love Bucky, but some of us love him more than others, depending upon what other mascots are giving us. Jesse, what's today's trivia category? What caller would you like?
It's Monday, and it was a busy sports weekend. The Sports Weekend Recap, a traditional Monday trivia staple.
All right, caller 16. Caller 16 plays trivia next. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Wilde Tausch Trivia presented by Iron Jog and Cousin Subs is up after Tausch tells us about UW Credit Union.
Well, Jason and I, we are both proud UW Credit Union members, and for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here forever. You proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals, and unique, exclusive debit cards you can only get at UW Credit Union. They partner with all UW schools, teams, and artists to create debit card designs as unique as you are. Join today at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Trivia's next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Kyle Bruston Nortman.
We need the final end here.
Oh, okay. Who you been, bro?
KBN.
Brian Gutekunst is going to have his best offseason of his entire career. I've been thinking about roster development lately and what Goody has in store for him. And I don't see any way this team can become a title contender unless Goody has the best offseason of his whole career.
Kyle Bruston Nortman. Afternoons from 2 to 5 on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hey, it's Gary Ellison for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking to escape the cold or take a midday break? Get your game on at Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center, where it's always golf season. Play more than 2,000 courses, including over 50 right here in Wisconsin. And even that famous course where they hand out green jackets. Top tech simulators, great food, and the best Bloody Marys around. This is your year-round slice of summer. Bays start at just $35 an hour, Monday through Friday. Book your bay today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Michelle Smallman.
When I think about the Chicago Bears specifically, that stadium on the lake in downtown Chicago, that matters. This version of the Bears is not a version that we've seen in some time, but yet that brand of the monsters of the Midway and this toughness with Chicago has existed. I don't know if that translates in Indiana. Sure, the fans will probably show up because the team is good. They've got a lot to cheer for the first time in a long time. You may have a franchise quarterback for the first time in a long time. So you'll trek over to Indiana if you have to. MetLife in New Jersey, as someone who lives in New York, that stadium does not feel like New York at all. It feels very sterile and it's very far away. And that's a real shame because New York City is one of the most vibrant places in the world. And it has one of the best personalities of a city in the world. And you go out to that stadium and it's like, it doesn't feel like that. And I don't want that to happen to Chicago.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Smalls here. What if you could enjoy the flavor of a cocktail without the alcohol? Meet RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category that delivers bold taste and a warming sensation, but with zero alcohol, zero sugar, zero carbs, and zero calories. So you can celebrate with friends, unwind after a long day, and wake up tomorrow feeling great. It's all the ritual of a drink without the regret. Discover RK at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, the spirit without the alcohol.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
It doesn't get any headlines just to be silently good. Big Fish Contracting, we say renovating homes, redeeming an industry.
It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
We're not only educating homeowners, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us. I mean, there's just such beauty in it, you know? If anyone is considering reaching out to us,
or you can check us out on our website, bigfishcontracting.com.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
We are thrilled, as Jim Rutledge often says on Jim, Matt, and Molly, which is truncated today over the air, by the way, but because the Brewers start at a ridiculously early time, and we, of course, have that coverage for you on 100.5 ESPN Madison.
I'm sure he'll still have enough time to tell everyone that Wisconsin's a mid-major after this news today of Blackwell going into the
just because you've had some bad takes that have been unpopular doesn't mean you have to shift the discussion to his bad takes.
Yes.
But good job.
I said last week was full of bad takes for all of us, and maybe Jim's was worse than Tausch's Easter take, which was worse than my ABS take.
You don't believe your takes were bad.
No, I'm open to receiving the feedback that my takes were bad.
But you stand by your ABS position.
I do. Yeah, it's getting silly.
Well, nevertheless, we are really lucky and appreciative of all of our great partners that allow us to do this program. But we have some news that will be unveiled tomorrow as we add another partner to our trivia conglomerate, which I'm telling you, the stakes for trivia now are going through the roof, much like John Blackwell's price tag.
Far cry from a prize pack, an ESPN Wisconsin prize pack for a long time.
So we will unveil that tomorrow, and then Wednesday we're at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford, all kinds of good stuff. But today it's time for trivia presented by Iron Jock and Cousin Subs.
Wilde Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. And by Cousin Subs. It's lobster season at Cousin Subs. Their lobster salad sub is fresh, flavorful, and only here for a limited time. Try it today.
You have to carve out more time for the triple threat of the big voice guy telling you all the things you can win with trivia starting tomorrow. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Tony and Tosa. Tony, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Doing great.
Tony, how do you feel about the state of college athletics?
Well, they're doing fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, and I don't know if the numbers. I did not see the numbers from Saturday. I haven't seen the numbers from Friday, which was fun. But I'm guessing they've never been better. College football, I don't think they've ever been better.
I'm excited for tonight's game. I'm going to watch.
We'll fact check that. All right, Tony. The trivia category is the Sports Weekend Recap. The first question is this. Which men's college basketball head coach guided his team to a berth in its third national championship game in the last 4 years with a win in the Final Four on Saturday? Was that Dan Hurley, Tommy Lloyd, or Shaka? It would not be smart to pick this answer.
I'll go with that Tommy Lloyd.
Tommy Lloyd, the coach at Arizona. They lost bigly to Michigan. That was not a good game. The other one was a good game. Dan Hurley, the coach at UConn, now getting ready for his third national championship game tonight in 4 years. All right, let's bounce back here, Tony. Question 2 is this. Which Brewers broadcaster filled in calling the games for Brewers TV this weekend with Jeff Levering under the weather for the Crews weekend series in Kansas City? Was it Lane Grindle on the play-by-play, Josh Maurer, or Sophia Minert?
Let's go with the Grindle.
I think it's time we start thinking about having a conversation about having
an imperfect week.
Let's get them all wrong.
It's an interesting start.
Interestingly enough, Jesse likening the health struggles with the voices of Brian Anderson and Jeff Levering to his own struggles that he had calling the Division III state high school basketball games after his...
Because he got all peppered up down at Lord knows where he was at.
3 peas in a pod. B.A. Levering and old gel.
Only one of these had self-inflicted voice issues. All right, question 3. Let's get one here.
It was Josh
Tony.
Maurer, by the way, filling.
That was. Yeah. He was not. He did not have self-inflicted voice issues though. Like you did.
No, he was sounding good.
Question 3, Tony. Let's get one here. Let's avoid an imperfect start to the week. In which city did the NCAA Women's Basketball Final Four and National Championship, and Gino Auriemma yelling at the longtime coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Dawn Staley, take place this weekend? Did that occur in San Antonio, Tampa, or Phoenix?
Let's go with Phoenix.
Oh,
yeah, let's go with Phoenix.
Come on.
Let's go.
But if you got that one wrong, then we're really building on going wrong all week. But son of a gun.
Good, Tony. Good job. Yeah, way to avoid taking the collar.
That could be a Monday trivia first, getting the first 2 wrong and the last one right. I don't know on a Monday if that's ever happened.
I don't know.
It's
Normally
not easy to do.
I'm pulling for our contestants and our fans to win in trivia, but I really wanted him to get that one wrong because I think that could have been fun. It's probably that's not as hard. but it's not easy to get every question wrong.
It's not easy to get every question wrong if you are legitimately trying to get it right? Like if you know the answer and you intentionally say the wrong
even
answer.
Then, I still think you're going to find a way to get one right. Like, that's 15 answers. But well done.
Well, Tony, thank you for putting an end to the losing streak. Hey, Tony. And it feels good. You got one right.
I still love the show anyways.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, we're having some fun.
Like, it's your fault you got the first two wrong. It's not our fault.
But in fairness, that second question wasn't that easy. That was a 50-50.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that assessment. Tony, we appreciate your loyalty to the show, buddy. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. I'll try and do better.
All right. That's the attitude we want. I'll do better next time.
Sure.
Want to remind you that you don't have to hop on a plane or board a cruise ship to feel like you've escaped. Your next getaway is waiting right in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Start with the stay. The biggest hotel rooms in Milwaukee, nearly 500 beautifully designed rooms and luxury suites. Perfect for a weekend reset, a date night, or celebrating something big, and you're just steps away from everything happening inside. And if you're hungry, gosh, you have a lot of options. You got the Dream Dance Steakhouse. You got the Marketplace, the Rockin' Brews, Canal Street Cafe, Ruyi Asian Kitchen, Cream City Coffee Company, all kinds of food and drink specials happening all the time. And if you're planning a wedding, a birthday, or an anniversary, their event spaces are the best, and they are built to make it unforgettable. Sophisticated relaxation, incredible flavor, and a full night out, all in one place. Potawatomi Casino Hotel. We'll start the 10 o'clock hour in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Toscher here. People ask, why did I join UW Credit Union? Well, let's break it down. Convenient local branches, easy to use mobile banking app, rewards checking with early payday, and that beautiful Bucky debit card. Also, they've been serving Wisconsin since 1931, which means they have local expertise that's actually local. So stop by a branch or visit uwcu.org to join today and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Spring has sprung, and we're opening the door to savings all April long. Mike Wood here from Callan. Right now, get $250 off each installed entry door, $150 off storm doors, and $100 off interior doors. But don't wait. This limited time offer ends April 30th. From boosting curb appeal outside or delivering a modern feel inside, our doors are built to fit your home. And with smart money options, your next project is more affordable than ever. Schedule your consultation today. Visit callcallan.com and click the green button. Callan. Design, build, live.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more? No less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Most contractors cut corners and disappear when there's a problem. Not us. Since 1997, we've completed over 60,000 projects, earned thousands of 5-star reviews, and were named 2025 Roofing Magazine Contractor of the Year. We set the standard for exterior remodeling. Trusted by homeowners, proven every single day. We're excited to show you why choosing Infinity means peace of mind. Visit infinityexteriors.com to see why your neighbors trust Infinity.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde Tausch begins now. And it begins... I don't know exactly how your social media consumption works. But man, you send some interesting stuff. And you said something yesterday that I was like, ooh, this is really interesting. And then on top of that, you had an interesting spin on it that I didn't see coming. So you're rooting around on social media sometime during the afternoon egg hunt, presumably, and you pass this along from an account that do you follow this account? You don't follow this account, right? It just sort of showed up in your feed, right?
Sure. I don't follow. Yeah, I think I'm trying to trim my followers down, or following, however that is.
Yeah. So this is from an account that's called Sports Psychology.
Okay.
Okay. As an athlete, you're remembered most for your biggest achievements, not your failures. Let this give you the courage to take risks and the resilience to bounce back from adversity. Now, I love this kind of stuff, and Sid and Maddie and I talk about this stuff all the time, probably to the level that they get irritated with me at times, and then other times they acknowledge that maybe I know what I'm talking about.
Does Paula not jump in these conversations?
She's wired a little differently than I am. She's supportive when we have these conversations, but I think she's more, for example, with gymnastics, she makes them better because she is such a good coach. So when it comes to skill development, they are really good because she's a really good coach. She knows how to teach kids. It's one of the most impressive things about her. But I am fascinated by the athlete's mentality. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting that Tausch sent me. But then the spin you put on it, and I didn't even think of it the way you phrased it, but the first statement that is in here, some might say is a hypothesis, I would disagree with, and it's stated as fact. As an athlete, you're remembered most for your biggest achievements, not your failures. I don't think that's true of all players. I think many players through history are remembered for what like Brandon Bostic is remembered for his successes. Bill Buckner. Like I don't want it to be that way.
I found this so interesting, as typically is the case when I get together with family and my brothers. They're listeners to the show, and the concept of the Fab Five doing their own side split screen deal on Saturday night, it made us ponder what is more highly favored or memorable. The Michigan Wolverines 89 championship when Ramil Robinson hit a free throw to beat, I think it was Syracuse, or the Fab Five? And the answer is undoubtedly the Fab Five. They didn't win a championship. And I'm just always mystified by what transcends winning championships, because we talk Packers so much, and all of the talk is win a championship. Right. When you don't, the Jared Cook play, and I was a little disappointed. I threw some ideas out Friday, and they didn't stick, and that's fine. That's part of doing a show. But it's just something that I'm always intrigued to learn more about, and some of that's why I love doing this show, is because we get different perspectives, and we get fans' perspectives on it, and especially when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. We've had so many great moments and so many painful ones. And I would argue most of our fans, especially the Jesse Nelson era age, it's more pain than it is awesomeness. Mm-hmm. And athletic-wise, you have to have the mentality that Sports Psychology tweeted about. You understand you're gonna have pain. There's gonna be scars. And you have to be willing to jump back into the arena, taking all the criticism from people that it irritates that you have to take it from. But that's the reality of the sports landscape. And you can make arguments, and one of the things I asked Jesse to do this week is, we could do a segment a week where we just talk about 3 different athletes and we say, what are they most remembered for? I think that's really interesting to look at, because I would bet if you said Brett Favre, you'd have probably 30 or 40% of our fans that would probably bring up welfare. That's just the reality. And Aaron Rodgers, darkness retreat. Some of us would say championship, the helmet waving, and with Rodgers, the skip and the the little jump skip thumbs up deal that he does. Now there's some athletes, and if it's Giannis, that's a whole nother story because that's getting ugly. But I think most of us would still skew on the positive side of it. But it's more complicated than just saying one thing and doing another. If you have a big time failure, you're going to be remembered for that. Obviously, O.J. Simpson, great player. That ain't what people talk about. That ain't what people remember. Darren Sharper. You think people remember anything about his play?
Yeah. Okay, but those are major off-the-field things, right? I mean, maybe not the darkness retreat. And I'd be curious what people would say when I say Aaron Rodgers, what's the first thing they think of? I would think there'd be more plays or more the belt or I own you or whatever it might be. Favre, I don't. The first thing I do think of is not the welfare thing. The first image that I have of him is running with his helmet off after the touchdown to Andre Rison. But to your point about the Fab Five, you know the first thing I think of? Chris Webber calling a timeout he didn't have. It's the first thought I have, right? I think you're probably right. More people know about the Fab Five, and they certainly got more attention than. But again, Ramil Robinson made those free throws in like 1989, and we're
Fab
old.
Five was 92, 93.
I understand, and I'm not sure what degree. Like I didn't see the numbers for the Fab Five sidecast that they did for that game, but again, all those guys. People that are young people who don't do what I do, which is watch things on cable, like yesterday when I rewatched the UConn-Illinois game last night when I was writing, not sure why. But, like, I don't even know if they think about those guys either, to your point. Like, they're just a bunch of old guys doing the basketball game. Now, if you're a Michigan alum or a Michigan fan or a Michigan student, you probably know the history. But I'm fascinated by the idea of guys being remembered for their great moments versus the guys that are remembered for their mistakes on the field. To your point about, Darren Sharper, that's the first thought I have. OJ, obviously, for everyone, that's really the first thought you have. But you think that more people know the Fab Five than if Michigan wins the national championship tonight?
Still going to be Fab Five.
It's still going to be okay. I just don't know if people care about history as much as you and I do. Like, I'm not sure people are as fascinated by, Ron Hassey's career batting average as a journeyman catcher, right? I think fans consume sports differently than we do now. But I agree with the premise that there are things that are remembered that aren't championships. That's for sure. Were there other things when you and your brothers were talking that jumped out at you beyond the Fab Five?
No, that was the one that kind of really got my mind spinning.
So if we did this as an exercise of what's the first thing that comes to mind of different players, which I can certainly conjure up for you, my question is, do you think the vast majority would be positive or negative?
It all depends who you put up there. If you bring up Eddie Lacy, what are you going to say?
Mike McCarthy calling him fat.
There you go. And Eddie Lacy was awesome for a short period. Mm-hmm. I would probably say the league comes at you fast just because I've said it so many times. But I think most fans would think Chinese food, whatever all that stuff was, that whole deal, that's where I think people are at. Well, we could play this game. Noah Herron. I would think he beat the hell out of somebody with that bedpost.
With a bedpost, yes.
It's amazing what people remember.
I agree. This is great. All right, so do you want to play a game? Do you want to do this?
Well, it's literally what I sent you guys yesterday. I thought, I think it's intriguing.
Right, but not everybody gets the text message. I was setting you up to say, let's play the game.
Oh, I didn't know it was so scripted. I think that part's fun, but then you look at, when you win that championship compared to everything else, and this also stems because there is this overlying, the Green Bay Packers don't win a championship, they suck. The Milwaukee Brewers don't win a championship, it's not fair. And I've always thought that was just weird. That dynamic, especially when I get together with family members we have a lot of, And I always am just thinking to myself, well, so what? As long as we lose to the Dodgers, everything else is great? Like, that's fine? Is that ever going to change? It's just because of money. And, I mean, I get it. I'm not disagreeing that it's not a fair argument to have, but that's kind of where we're at in the Wisconsin sports landscape. And now, as the John Blackwell news comes out and, if he ends up going somewhere, are we now going to just take that? And if Ohio State, Michigan, and all of these other football programs are spending double what we are we going to then put that restrictions on our football program? Because I don't want that. I don't want any part of that. But is that where we're at psychologically as a fan base? Because it feels like it.
844-770-3776. That is our Carbless Talk and text line if you want to chime in on that. My struggle with this is that it's the haves and the have-nots sports where you adjust your expectations. And while there are some exceptions in the baseball realm, right? The Kansas City Royals when they won it under Ned Yost, etc. Are there enough exceptions that you should have higher expectations for the Brewers? I don't know if that's true. Do I fear that we're headed the same path with college sports? I do. So that one,
David Bakhtiari.
Chugging a beer at the Bucks game.
Jesse?
New Year's Eve injury.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll do more of this. When I think of Mark Tauscher, one of the things I think of is American Family Insurance.
I love that is one of the things you think of because I love the fact they have been a proud partner of Wilde Tausch from the jump. And since 1927, they've been committed to making life better, and I appreciate that. In football, you build something that lasts by protecting what matters most. It's no different than your home. With the right home and auto coverage from American Family Insurance, you've got protection you can count on, so you're free to focus on your family and the dreams that you're chasing. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance.
More Wilde Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Don't miss a moment of the basketball tournament action this March at 3rd Street Market Hall. Home to your one-stop, must-stop viewing destination, 3rd Street Market Hall has over 20 locally owned food vendors, a 30 self-serve beer wall, over 50 HD TVs, plus game day specials. The perfect place to work remotely or catch a game between meetings or over lunch, 3rd Street Market Hall is your downtown home for basketball this March.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Put Brewers weekends back on your schedule when the Crew take on the Nationals April 10th through the 12th. Collect a new Mish trading card bobblehead for the first 25,000 fans on Saturday the 11th, courtesy of Toyota. Then, reserve Sunday for a full day of family fun. Kids can run the bases, get autographs, and the first 5,000 kids get a Brewers wiffle ball set, courtesy of Joy. Plus, it's a kids cheer free Sunday. Grab your seat at brewers.com/tickets.
You've always been competitive at work, in the gym, even with your kids. But lately you feel off. Workouts take longer to recover from. Your drive just isn't there. You know, it might not be your age. It could be low testosterone. At Mentality, we'll get to the bottom of what's really going on and build a personalized plan using testosterone replacement and peptide therapies to help restore your energy, focus, and drive. Get back the energy to being dad again. Book your appointment with Mentality at lowtusa.com. Again, that's lowtusa.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Take it home this April at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. $300,000 is on the line, and you're at bat to win your share. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your April drawing entries all count toward another prize drawing in June. It's the Base Race Game Show. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is Coach Greg Gard. I've lived my whole life in Wisconsin, and I know what people here value. Hard work, honesty, and looking out for one another. That's exactly how Bank CMG approaches banking. They combine hometown values with modern tools to help people make confident financial decisions. When you want a bank that understands where you're coming from, Bank CMG makes sense. Visit bankcmg.com or stop by your local branch. Let's get to work.
Turn your dream kitchen into a reality with the IKEA Dream Kitchen event. Now through April 21st, IKEA family members save 10% when they spend $3,000 or more on section kitchen cabinets and eligible appliances and countertops. That's modern style, smart storage, and everyday functionality designed your way. Plus, section cabinets come with a 25-year limited warranty. Not sure where to start? IKEA's expert kitchen planners are here to guide you every step of the way. Your dream kitchen is closer than you think. So visit IKEA Oak Creek or IKEA.us today.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
So Jesse is going to take our game idea.
We got a card? We got a card put up this week, or is that Digi only?
We will later in the week. We need to do that when you're in your undisclosed location. That works better that way.
Oh, because you have it up.
It just works better that way.
Okay.
And he's going to turn it into a poo-poo platter of this game and Take It to the Bank all at once. So time now for Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank. You just like the music.
It is fun, new music.
I
This
agree.
is royalty free.
Yeah, it's a good one. Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank. So I will give you a Wisconsin sports figure with what I propose they are most remembered for. You take it to the bank, whether that is what they are most remembered for or not. So here we go, starting with Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers. Take it to the bank. Ryan Braun is most remembered for his home run against the Cubs in the final game of the 2008 season. Take it to the bank.
Braun is a complicated fella. There's a lot of things that I think of when I think of Brawny, but unfortunately, I think of the UPS dude selling them out.
Yeah, I think of him throwing the urine collector under the bus. First thing I think of. Second thing I think of is having an asterisk in the title of the restaurant that he opened with Aaron Rodgers, which seemed like bad planning.
So then that for sure goes against the sports psychology social media post saying that you're remembered for your best thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Next up, take it to the bank, Greg Jennings. Most remembered for catching a touchdown in the Packers' Super Bowl victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That or the slant to beat the San Diego Chargers at that point as a rookie. There's a lot of other things that Greg Jennings is known for, but I am 100% on board with the touchdown catch that he had in that Super Bowl to help us win a championship. Positive vibes only for Greg Jennings.
So you're going to take that one to the bank.
I would, so here's the problem for my answer, of course, is that it is a positive, but that's not the first thing I think of. I think of that game in Denver where it goes to overtime, and on the first play of overtime, Favre hits him for that 80-yard touchdown to win the game.
That's a good one.
Which I know is not as important of a game as the Super Bowl, in which I believe he caught 2 touchdown passes. But that's the play for me that sticks out. But it is a positive play, not a, he went to the Vikings or whatever else.
Could you say that he is one of the most underrated players in this last 25-year run?
Yeah, or I don't want to say forgotten, because I don't think people have forgotten him per se, but we don't think about it.
He got in the Packers Hall of Fame like that. It was quick, like a quick.
Right. I mean, again, I have had, as I've told the story before, multiple people who worked in the personnel department say that if he just stayed in Green Bay, and they made him a good offer that he thumbed his nose at during training camp, which is what led to Rodgers making that comment during the 49ers game and everything else. If he'd have stayed here...
And Rodgers, for the record, Rodgers should not have done that.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. I said that when we talked about the last time years ago, but there was a reason why he said it. It's because Greg Jennings had basically told him, look, I'm not coming back then. You guys aren't interested in paying me what I deserve. He ended up getting less than they offered him when he went to the Vikings. But my point is that when I look at him, I see a guy that, based on what these scouts said, would have been their all-time leading receiver. He would have played a much longer career, too, I believe, had he stayed here. So maybe that factors in.
Greg Jennings is an NFL Hall of Famer if he stays in Green Bay.
Yep, agreed.
Next up, Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank. We'll keep it with the Green Bay Packers. Had a nice career as a starting quarterback, but Take It to the Bank, Don Majkowski is most remembered for getting hurt, allowing Brett Favre to come into the game.
Nope.
Upon further review, the Bears still suck.
Against the Bears.
The
really?
Replay touchdown. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Again, that's a young... That right there is a young person who was not either... You were not even alive for that, correct?
I was... I don't know. Remember exactly.
It was 1989?
No, I was not. No. I was born 91.
Yeah. The year was 1991.
I mean, when you say...
that's what he's remembered for.
I'm almost 35. When you say Don Majkowski, first thing I think of is got hurt, Favre came in.
Yeah, I think there's probably a big section of the fans. I would also think he went and sang with up at the Resch Center, Brown County Coliseum. I don't remember which band he went and jammed out and gotten to know Don over the years now with different golf outings and stuff. He's a character now.
Next up, Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank.
Oh, you've got more.
I got 5 of them here, so we've done 3 already. Bo Ryan, head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, most remembered for beating undefeated Kentucky in the Final Four.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would think that I look at Bo as, just an all-time coach in the state of Wisconsin. But that, from a moment standpoint, no doubt that is the highlight of his career, and I would say that that's right there.
From accomplishments, for sure. I always think about him and his dad and how they would go to the Final Four together and all. I just remember how important his dad was to him as well. But yeah, for sure. Seeing Sam Decker at the Bob Harlan Celebration of Life a couple weeks ago, I always hear Bill Raftery saying "Step back, Jack" when he drops that step back 3 in the Kentucky game too. Like, that's the first thing I think of when it comes to Sam Decker, and then I think of Bo Ryan was always really tough on him. Next.
Last one, Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank, testing the sports psychology theory. CC Sabathia, more remembered for his 3 months with the Milwaukee Brewers than his longer multi-year stints with the Cleveland then Indians, or winning a World Series with the New York Yankees.
I mean, his time in Wisconsin is legendary for us.
Right.
But I'm guessing, and for him, I'm sure it's not going to be the same as winning a world championship with the Yankees. But I would think overall, if you're talking about outside the state of Wisconsin, he is his Yankees time probably will be more so remembered, even though you could make a really good argument that from a short-term rental standpoint, it may be one of the great ones that we've ever seen.
think we're obviously very much biased on this, right? I mean, the guy's a baseball Hall of Famer, and his time in Milwaukee. I'd be curious how people who aren't affiliated with Cleveland or the Yankees view him. Right? Like, if you're a baseball fan in general, you're not a Yankees fan or an Indians fan or a Brewers fan.
Baseball fans don't even remember CC Sabathia played for the Brewers.
Right. I
think
agree
Cleveland is actually where they remember him most.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
And he never won a title there.
Yep. Can I do a couple more?
Sure. We got more music. Keep them coming.
All right. So the first one, I have in front of me the list of the top 10 athletes in Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin history. What's the first thing you think of? I want to do it in a different format. What's the first thing you think of when you think of Joe Thomas and no, you can't say Meat Santa?
Fishing during the draft.
Hall of Famer.
I think of the consecutive snaps streak.
Okay.
It's the first thing.
Those are all positive, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. Mark Johnson is on this list.
Champion.
Women's hockey.
I think Olympic champion.
I think of the Miracle on Ice. That's the first one for me as well. But again, Jesse, you're not that old. Here's another one that I think is interesting because you blocked for him. Ron Dane. I think of the announcer saying his name even more than I think of how productive he was.
Yeah, I think of down in West Lafayette, needed it, had to close up shop, and he got it, and that won him the Heisman Trophy. Yep. That's what I think of.
Yeah,
I think of the record-setting run against Iowa. Like
running over
on the old turf at Camp Randall. That's what I picture that watching it on ABC. That's what I remember. Ron Dane.
And Tausch blocking Matt Bowen. Did you block Matt Bowen on that play?
Potentially. I don't recall if it was Matt or if it was somebody down.
All right, last one. Pat Richter.
One of the finest human beings I've ever met.
Saved the athletic department when he took over as the athletic director and they hired Barry Alvarez. So those are all positives. You know who else is on this list, though, that I have to admit? The first thought I have about her is the story that came out later in her life is Susie Favor Hamilton.
Yeah, that's going to trump all of her stuff.
Yeah.
I thought about putting Tiger Woods on our game, and I didn't. But are we getting close where it's going to be different for him?
Well, I think it's probably already different for him in a lot of circles.
So the recency bias, obviously, right? I mean, this is the second time now he's been involved in this type of an accident. But I still think of the red shirt on Sunday and him pumping his fist. Like, that has not been surpassed.
Yeah, I have
the big putt with Vern Lundquist on the call. Oh, my. When it, sits on the rim and then it goes in.
Yeah, he will always be just a great champion. It would be the first thing on my mind. But that Thanksgiving Day with the club going through his window and then having to do all that, man.
That's also a good point.
It's a tough one.
Your commentary on that tough one.
That's I would say that's not 1B, but it's definitely 2A.
Perkins, right? Perkins was one of them.
He was definitely country kitchen. Yeah, he got after those morning spots.
Wonder what he thinks of the. Never mind. All right. That's skillet. It for Take It to the Bank. I was going to say, I wonder what he thinks of these combo restaurants now where they've got the Applebee's and the IHOP in the same building. I don't know if that would make it work for him both for breakfast and for dinner or how that would work, but be that as it may, I know the first thing you think of when you think of me is not necessarily, hey, he's an Associated Bank customer, but it should be on the list. I tell you, I've been telling you about it for a decade now, and it was the best switch we could have made. And if you want great customer service and want to support your favorite team, then make the switch. Go to AssociatedBank.com. Customer service through the roof. They've got the awards to prove it, and whether it's early pay, so you have access to your direct deposit up to 2 days early, whether it's fraud protection, which they were great about, or it's making sure that your credit monitoring is taking care of you so you can make that big purchase like our Steinhoffel's couch. All of those things they take great care of you with. And, of course, Packers checking, Badgers checking, and Brewers checking as well. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Wisconsin, let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. Beer. Specifically, great beer. And if you haven't met Yuengling yet, allow me to introduce you. Yuengling is the oldest brewery in America, founded in Pottsville, PA in 1829. 197 years, 6 generations of family-owned brewing. Do you know how they became America's oldest brewery? By making great beer. This is a real American beer. Smooth, rich, and finally here in Wisconsin. So grab a Yuengling, raise a glass, and celebrate history the way it was meant to be celebrated, by drinking it. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike during the nation's largest bike sale. That's right, the Wheel and Sprocket Bike Expo sale is back. And so is our trade-in, trade-up program, which means you can trade in your old bike for a gift card to use towards your new bike.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Electric bikes, road bikes, cargo bikes, mountain bikes, kid bikes, hybrid bikes. Over 2,000 brand new and used bikes on sale, along with thousands of accessories, from helmets and lights to car racks and more.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, trade in your old bike for a gift card towards a new bike. Friday noon to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 11 to 5 at the State Fair Park inside the Expo Center. Visit bikeexposale.com for details. Admission is free.
Life is short. We'll see you at the Bike Expo.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
One of the most important concepts in sports is don't drop the ball. Are you dropping the ball with your estate plan? When was it last updated? Have you even done one at all? It's ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde for Walney Legal Group. There's a lot at stake for you and your family when it comes to wills, trusts, probate, and elder planning. At Walney Legal, that's all they do. Tailored documents. No confusing legal jargon. Just thoughtful guidance. Do the blocking and tackling to protect your family. Start a conversation today at walneylegal.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Game Night, so for Events by Design. Events like appreciation parties and retreats can go a long way towards boosting morale and retaining top talent. Events by Design is your go-to creative partner for employee events that truly make an impact. They help leaders retain top talent by making their people feel seen, valued, and celebrated. The creative team at Events by Design does all the planning and production, making sure things not only look great, but also work. Make a smart investment in your culture today. Search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some folks having some fun with our remembered for Take It to the Bank? When I think of Wilde, I think of Poshmark or Facebook Marketplace from Geriad. Happy to say I sold some hangers over the weekend. I know you missed that when I posted them, but I was pleased with that sale. A couple of others.
I actually did see some hangers at the store on Saturday, and I thought of you when I saw them. So maybe they're onto something there.
Jesse also getting called out for another bad take on Magic. Although Sean says the first thing I think of is his nickname, the Magic Man. Grizz lives in Tennessee, says the only thing I know from CC Sabathia is his World Series. So, yeah, I think we are obviously biased in a bigly way.
For sure.
For his 3 months with us. Nathan says Jennings is remembered for being a jerk on TV. I understand he went overboard. He was on our show, and we talked about that. Look, he had some really hurt feelings, but I don't think that those overcome. I mean, 2 Super Bowls and the 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and that hit he takes from Troy Polamalu and holds on to the 1 touchdown, and then the other one he's wide open on. I mean, that did not surpass it for me. And I was as critical of him as anybody for the way he handled his post-Packers tenure. Jim, Dane was a bust in the NFL. Yeah, he was. But again, I don't think that defined him.
Well, perspective matters on all this stuff.
I think of you do not want him in your backfield. I have before me the greatest, the comprehensive, or at least that's how they are calling it, the definitive list of the GOATs. My question for you, Tausch, is like, while we proved it not to be true that you are remembered most for your successes and not your failures, according to that sports psychology thing, the GOATs are remembered for specific things too, right? Like when I say Michael Jordan, what's the first thing you think of?
Oh, there's a lot.
Right, me too. We're from that era, right?
Space Jam.
Yep, that's top of the list, Space Jam.
I think of him winning the dunk contest and taking off from the free throw line.
Yeah, I would probably think of him as stealing the ball and then going down the drain in that last shot, holding it against the Jazz. That's probably where I would go.
LeBron James is on this list. When I think of LeBron James, I think of him saying, I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
Yeah, I would have him blocking that shot to beat, and it should have been goaltending because his hand hit the rim against Iguodala to win with the Cavs. And then I think of him sewering the city of Milwaukee. Those are the 2 things.
And Memphis, apparently. Joe Montana, I think of the John Candy thing in the huddle and the touchdown to Dwight Clark.
Yeah, I definitely think of him throwing touchdowns, winning, beating Cincinnati. That's what I would think of.
What about when it comes to Tom Brady?
Oh, 28-3. That's the one I'd probably
Is that the one you remember most vividly? One more, Bo Jackson.
I would think there's a lot of folks that think deflated footballs.
Yeah.
And I actually thought of the first thing I thought, because there's a lot to choose from. The first one I thought of was his first Super Bowl win, where they were the underdogs against the greatest show on turf, and they won it.
That's a good one.
That's the first one I thought of when I think of Brady.
If you hate Tom Brady, you think deflated footballs, and you'd say he dropped the pass that Nick Foles caught. Like you can find a way to fit your narrative, just like you can in life with everything. Mm-hmm. But Tom Brady, I think first off you'd say GOAT, and then I think for me I would look at that, having the fortitude to come back 28-3 and to do what they did. That's where I would put him.
Close personal friend of Mark Tauscher, Bo Jackson.
Oh, this is a tough one because I think of him catching that ball and running up the outfield.
Yes,
or I
up
think
the
of
wall.
Or I think of him as Tecmo Bowl.
Right. And I thought of him running up the tunnel at the old Kingdome after a long touchdown on like Monday Night Football. I think that was the same game where he ran over the
And
Boz.
ironically, Brian Bosworth, I think of him getting trucked by Bo Jackson. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. All right, last one, because they do have a tennis section, and we haven't done our Tausch's Tennis Minute in a while. Billie Jean King, pressure is a privilege. Or is it beating Bobby
Sexes,
Riggs?
Probably Battle of the Sexes.
Yeah. And then your guy Fed.
I don't know what Fed's like big, because he was just so smooth.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, he got passed by two guys.
Right.
So I think I'd probably look at it like he was the greatest on grass until, I don't know if Novak passed him by on that too. But no, he's a tough one to kind of pin down.
That's why I did that last. I couldn't think of anything that was specific of this was his moment. He just won and won and won and won.
Because in his biggest moments, he lost.
Right.
Like trying to beat Rafa on clay, never could do it. Rafa on grass when he surpassed him in the greatest match ever until Rafa and Joker had it. It's just a smooth professional, but I don't know what I'd say for Fed.
All right, though that was my little addendum to our little game. We will.
Is Johnny Mac all right with being known as just a jerk?
Yeah, Sean in the YouTube comments. First thought of McEnroe, him yelling, "You cannot be serious!"
The greatest moment in tennis history.
That's what some have said.
We'll see what the text line has to say about our little exercise next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
What if your screens could disappear until you needed them? Meet Pella's 250 series vinyl windows with the accordion hidden screen. Designed to give you a clearer view with 44% more light than conventional screens. The hidden screen appears when the window opens to let in fresh air, then tucks away when you don't need it, giving you a clearer view that's beautiful, practical, and even easier to clean. Order today and get 0% interest until 2030. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Put Brewers weekends back on your schedule when the Crew take on the Nationals April 10th through the 12th. Collect a new Mish trading card bobblehead for the first 25,000 fans on Saturday the 11th, courtesy of Toyota. Then reserve Sunday for a full day of family fun. Kids can run the bases, get autographs, and the first 5,000 kids get a Brewers wiffle ball set, courtesy of Joy. Plus, it's a kids cheer free Sunday. Grab your seat at brewers.com/tickets.
At Saturn Lounge, we know if your marketing actually worked, you would know. Your website would perform, not just exist. Your storytelling would inspire, not fall flat. Your integrated campaigns would create impact, not excuses. There'd be no refreshing dashboards, no waiting on a report to explain what happened. It's time to generate quality leads and turn them into customers. Let's make it happen with Saturn Lounge, your marketing partner for clear, measurable results. Visit us today at SaturnLounge.com. When marketing works, it shows.
3 people, 3 different kinds of joint pain, 1 decision to do something about it. The solution, not surgery, it was QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
I wanted to use my own body to hopefully regenerate and get rid of that pain. So it's been 3 months and my back is significantly better.
The pain in my knees was pretty severe, so I came here, and even after the first treatment, I noticed an incredible difference. If you have pain in any part of your body, this is the place to go.
I couldn't go to the gym anymore, and I couldn't play with my grandkids. That's why I made the decision to come here to QC Kinetics, and it was the best decision that I ever made for my own health. This works. Don't do surgery.
Finally, relief for 3 real patients. Lives transformed through QC Kinetics non-surgical treatments. Your story could be next. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
At Citizens Bank, we believe banking is more than transactions. It's about being recognized and remembered. It's feeling like you're understood and supported along the way. It's the small stuff that says, we know you. Because when your bank gets you, banking just feels better. Citizens Bank. Bank where you belong. Learn more at citizensbankwi.bank/belong. Citizens Bank is member FDIC.
Get ready to sip into summer with the new Carbless Americana Backyard Bliss Variety 8-pack. 4 nostalgic flavors: strawberry, cherry, grape, and apple, all packed up and ready to celebrate America's 250th birthday. It's backyard barbecues, fireworks, lawn games, and the classic summer flavor in every can. This season, bring the party, bring the nostalgia, and bring the bliss with the new Americana Backyard Bliss 8-pack from Carbless. Pick up your brand new variety pack at your local retailer or go to drinkcarbless.com to find it near you.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Jesse continuing to be roasted on the Magic Man. Just a continuation from last week. Jesse, I'm assuming that there are texts that have other topics.
I don't think Jesse should be roasted for that.
He's younger-ish.
No, but I mean, I do think there's a lot of Packer fans. That is, and if you ask Don Mikowski what the big moment, one of his biggest moments, it is that he got replaced.
I would almost guarantee anybody younger than me doesn't think of anything of Don Mikowski other than the guy that got hurt that Favre came in for.
Yeah, I think you have to
might be right on that.
No, I don't disagree with you on that. I think if you're old enough to have been alive for, because it also was the genesis of the Bears still suck. Like that chant all comes from that moment too, because upon further review, and then people made jokes about the Bears still suck, and then it became a song and everything else. Like that's all traced back to that play and Ditka getting pissed and everything else. So, yeah, you're probably right if you're younger, but it would appear that the people that are critical of you in the YouTube comments must be older. What do you have on the text line?
Speaking of those who are younger, this is right for my generation and younger. John in St. Louis, one of several that chimed in with this feedback on Greg Jennings. When I think of Greg Jennings, I think of that old video of a guy playing Madden where Jennings broke his blanking leg.
Put the team on his back.
He put the team on his back, though. Yeah, that video for Greg Jennings is probably the first thing that actually comes to mind when I hear the name Greg Jennings. That's number one, and then I think of catching a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl as the Packers beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were doing requests, but Geriad would like to ask Tausch. What's the first thing that comes to mind when we say Coach K?
Crybaby.
Okay. That's kind of what I expected. The first thing that comes to mind when I say David Gruber is one call, that's all, and winning. Winning your case and not taking a dime until they do. Grubeloff's is one call, that's all. 414-276-6666. 414-276-6666. Go to the website, gruber-law.com. Find out more about all the great lawyers they have, all the big wins that they've had, and all the great things they do in our communities. I just saw that they presented the MAC Fund with over $60,000, one of those big checks at the Bucks game for the T-shirts and the threes that they do at all the Bucks games. Grubeloff's is one call, that's all. All right. As billed on the title for our YouTube production, we were going to talk about potential Packers contract extensions. We kind of went a couple of different directions before that, but that's where we'll start the 11 o'clock hour, and that will start in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
The Bucks came away with a 131-115 win over the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday afternoon. Ryan Rollins led the way with 24 points, while Cormac Ryan added 21 coming off the bench. Here's head coach Doc Rivers on why these games are important, even though his team is out of the playoffs.
Be more aggressive going downhill. You can just see where he wouldn't even go downhill earlier. So this is why these games, I know we're out of the playoffs and all that, but these games are meaningful to a lot of guys.
Up next, the Bucks will head to Brooklyn to take on the Nets on Tuesday night. I'm Will Summers.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Summertime is when you'll find the largest selection of homes on the market.
But it's the bottom of the ninth, as it's also the time when homes move the quickest.
This is Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates, powered by Keller Williams.
And I'm Andrea Woshinski. With more buyers competing, preparation, speed, and expert local guidance can make all the difference.
Start your home journey today with our white glove service at wendorfteam.kw.com.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
A real estate team driven by faith, gratitude, and results.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geist today. For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage door authority in Wisconsin. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to get your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geistdoors.com. That's GEIS doors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield, featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
We are the home for all your Brewers coverage. 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde Tausch begins now. And it begins with something that I don't want to say struggling with, because I'm not losing sleep over this by any means. But I kind of went down this rabbit hole after Brian Gutekunst said at the NFL meetings that they want to keep Christian Watson, that's a priority, that's important. And I thought of one of the first things I think of when I think of Mark Tauscher is no blank. Not the very first thing, but among the first things. And then I started thinking, who else besides him and Kraft are even on this list? And both of them even come with caveats of, and I mean, I don't have any doubt that Tucker Kraft will be back to being himself after the ACL. It's really the only injury he's ever had that he hasn't been able to play through. But Watson has a longer list of injuries in his time. But is there anyone that you're sitting there going, oh, they got to keep this guy, they got to keep that guy? Like, Devontae Wyatt has been inconsistent. He's played well at times, but when he's suffered an injury each of the last 2 years, right? 2 years ago, it derailed his season, and then when he came back, he was not anywhere close to being the player he was early in the year in 2024, when he looked like he might, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be a really good player for them. That didn't happen. Then last year, he got off to another good start. He breaks his leg through no fault of his own in Detroit. We haven't seen him since, right? Didn't come back. And who else is even on your radar beyond the two guys that you think are their best offensive weapons in the passing game? And I couldn't think of anybody else.
Yeah,
I guess Evan Williams, but he's not eligible for another full year.
Devontae Wyatt would be somebody that I think you think about. because you could maybe get him in a little early and maybe not have to pay top dollar. I don't know how that would work out, but yeah,
playing on his fifth-year option this year.
Like Jaden Reed, I think he's got another year before he's eligible, right?
No, he's eligible now.
I think Jaden Reed would be somebody that I'd think about, and it would be at the price point the Packers want. Christian Watson, I would wait if I was the Green Bay Packers, unless you can get him at a much more discounted price. But Tucker Kraft is the only answer I have right now, and I don't know. That's obviously not a great thing because the Green Bay Packers in the past have always looked at identifying those young core players and you sign them early, and they have not done that. Outside of Zach Tom, who else have they done that with? Watson, they ended up making a very wise decision, betting that he would be back and playing at a high level, and he did.
Right.
And now they can they can play it out this year at $13 million, and then, if they want, they could tag him next year. I still think with his injury history, I want to see more and see him go through a full season. But you do risk, having to cowboy it, which is always paying top dollar at the end. They're running into that with Pickens. So there's not a lot there. I don't know who else is on that list that you'd say we got to have him. We need him back. We need to re-sign this player at this price point. I think Jaden Reed and Devontae Wyatt would be the only two that you would look at right now and say, I would argue Xavier McKinney is the guy I want extended and kind of a new contract done moving forward. But he's going to start getting into that age point that Brian Gutekunst isn't super interested in giving long-term deals to. So there's been this draft and develop model, and you so eloquently monikered it the draft and replace. And that has been more in line with what Brian Gutekunst and the Packers have done than what Ted Thompson and Ron Wolf maybe in the past have looked at it more from a draft and develop. There is that 1.5 number that Brian Gutekunst put out. There's a reason. It was pretty cool that he let you in on that because it's been accurate, and that is a big part of his philosophy.
So, again, the 2022 draft class, which saw a number of players depart, still on the roster from 2022's draft class. Devontae Wyatt, who is scheduled to play on the fifth-year option of his rookie deal. So he has not gotten a multi-year extension. Christian Watson, who is set to play on that 1 year. He signed that while he was still on the PUP list. And the Packers look like they have a bargain for the 2026 season. Sean Ryan got the 3-year deal in free agency, and Zach Tom got the deal before the start of last season, and then endured an injury-plagued 2025. Quay Walker, Romeo Doubs, Kingsley Enagbare, and Rasheed Walker all departed in free agency from that group. Now, here's the 2023 class who are now eligible to sign an extension because they have finished their third NFL season. Lucas Van Ness, who they must decide on a fifth-year option. I think you and I are in alignment that he is not going to receive that, and he will be playing in a contract year. Luke Musgrave. Is there any reason to think about signing him to an extension?
No.
Jaden Reed, I like that you brought him up, but my question is, if you're Jaden Reed, what is your strategy? Because you said if the Packers could extend him at their price point, that they would. I agree with you. Am I Jaden Reed? Am I going to bet on myself and think I can do better than what their price point is?
Well, after seeing what Romeo Doubs received from New England, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Tucker Kraft, we all agree on. Colby Wooden was traded for Zaire Franklin. And then the only other players that are left from that draft are day 3 picks, Dontavion Wicks, Carl Brooks, and Carrington Valentine.
Yeah, I think of that group, I don't think Carl Brooks is somebody that you're not going to have to pay a ton. If he has a nice year and can showcase himself as a good rotation player, maybe you do that. But everything that Goody has done in the past tells me that Carl Brooks will be playing his last year in Green Bay.
Carrington Valentine will be in a contract year.
If somebody calls and says, Musgrave, we will give you a 6th for him right now, you trading him?
The drawback to that is you don't have much depth at tight end because you're
going to draft somebody.
Again, you only have 7 picks right now. Well, we can get into this next. I'd be curious how many picks you think they'll actually exercise, because it feels to me like he's going to be doing a lot of trading back to try and accumulate picks. But I don't know if there'll be the opportunities for that. I don't think for a 6th-round pick. I got Luke Musgrave on a rookie contract. I think I probably keep him as opposed to for a 6th-round pick. What about you?
Carrington Valentine, what are we doing?
I'm still a believer in him. I know his tackling last year was problematic. I still think he's a
What
starting.
Do you see him as? He's a number 2 at his best?
Yes, I see him as a number 2 corner, yeah.
All right, what are you going to do when Keyshawn Nixon decides he's not coming to camp?
Panic.
You going to hold the line, or are you going to give him something?
That's a really good question. He is underpaid in his current contract if you have put him in the position of being the
he'll hold in.
Corner.
He'll be a hold in.
If you hold the line and you're thin there, do you then go into let me rephrase. Do you think Goody already is expecting him to hold in?
Yes.
Okay. So then how does that influence what his thought process is for the draft?
I think it makes you believe that you need to address that position earlier rather than later.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And you don't have a first-round pick. Keyshawn Nixon is scheduled to make a $4.3 million base salary. He has a $500,000 in game-by-game roster bonuses. So if he's active for a game, he gets 1/17 of that $500,000 for every game that he's active for. That is a bargain price for a guy that is their number 1 corner. Whether you agree that he should be a number 1 corner or not, do you blame him as a player if he holds in?
No, he should.
And you also think that Tucker Kraft should not set foot on the practice field until he has an extension.
I think they want to get Tucker done, and I think they'll end up getting a more team-friendly deal with Tucker. I think Tucker will still be one of the highest-paid tight ends. But Tucker Kraft, my guess is there'll be some incentives. He's going to get a big check, and he deserves every penny of it. He's earned it. But, yeah, I don't think from his end he should go, be there, rehab, do everything else. But, yeah, I would want some security before he goes out there.
So if I take the half measure of saying that I will sweeten Keyshawn Nixon's deal, but I also don't think that Goody is interested in, signing him to a big boy extension.
No, they're going to have to give him some sweeteners.
Right.
That's what I would think is going to happen.
So you add some money there and you put on some, dummy years to spread it out?
Yeah, whatever that might be. I think you're definitely looking at that. I definitely think that's the road that they're going to go down. Find a way to maybe up the in-game bonus and throw him a couple of bones, maybe give him a little bigger workout bonus because they're going to want him in camp. But if I'm him, I think I'm probably working out everywhere else and then maybe coming in because you don't want to get fined for the mini camp and then hold in until you get some more money because they're going to – I don't envision them giving him a long-term contract at this age and where he's at.
Turns 29 in June.
I don't think that's going to be the case. So he and the Packers can say, well, go out and have a great year and, kind of like what they did with Romeo Doubs. But if I'm Keyshawn Nixon, I think you're really hard-pressed to go and do it that way.
Do you think is there any thought to telling him the same thing you told Elton Jenkins? Sorry.
I don't know how Keyshawn will handle that. You know Keyshawn better than I do. I would think that he's not going to handle that well.
No, and so, but let's be honest.
But Hobbsy's not there to kind of control the media part of it.
Good point. If we're being honest, Elton didn't handle it well either, right? Elton was pretty angry. And then he got to a point where he really had no options other than Are you willing to really start accruing fines and giving back money and just not participating? My question is, what does Keyshawn have other than withholding his services? Which again, and I don't want to go down the CBA negotiations path, but this is another thing that I still can't believe that the NFLPA allowed to get into writing in the last CBA, where those fines are unrescindable, if that's a word. Like you are on the hook for those fines.
Yeah, you can find ways around it.
I'm just saying they gave up that whatever leverage they had on withholding your services. They didn't do a great job on that.
You could get a new contract out of it and rescind the rescission.
Yeah, but Keyshawn Nixon isn't in that group. I don't think he's getting some sort of big fat extension.
That's why guys are holding in, not holding out.
Right, precisely. So he holds in. You still don't have his services.
Correct.
Right.
And he's bad. Yeah.
And I'm not. I can't prove causation, but I would guess that to some degree, Elton Jenkins not participating in most of the offseason program and getting a late start in camp.
And the Packers are going to look at that and say that did not help anybody, because then you also, Banksy was hurt and the O-line, actually the O-line got off to a decent start with that Detroit game, and Zach Tom gets, knocked out with the cheap shot from Hutch. And the whole group it was a revolving door of not good enough play. And you have a fine line of holding tough in a negotiation and sticking to your principles, which, by the way, I want the organization to do.
Sure.
But there's also are you hurting the football team? And there is no doubt last year with all of the injuries and whatever you want to frame the early part of camp, and really for a big chunk of camp, you never were able to get any cohesion. Now, at least you know where you're at. I don't know, if Zach Tom had surgery, and if he did, he's not going to be ready for camp. You're going to be banking and hoping that he's going to be ready for the beginning of the season. And with Banksy, he's not getting younger. So, you have to look at that and say, I'm going to prove my point, and I'm going to win this negotiation, because the organization is going to win if they want. But then are you losing by winning with players?
It's a Pyrrhic victory, as the saying goes. All right, I do want to, and you've been great about kind of reevaluating your view on Goody. I do want to ask.
And Easter egg hunts.
And Easter egg hunts, yes, that's true. Good dynamite drop then, Monty. I am curious. I want to ask you a question about Goody on the other side of this. After you tell us again about someone who we know is the GOAT, and that, of course, is Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
And if you've been putting off replacing your windows and doors, now is the time, because Pella of Wisconsin is offering zero financing all the way till 2030. That's zero interest until 2030. And in Wisconsin, your home takes a beating year-round. The right windows and doors can improve comfort, boost energy efficiency, and upgrade your home's look. Pella's experts will help you find the perfect fit for your home and within your budget, all at zero interest up until 2030. So you can upgrade now and pay over time without paying a nickel in interest. Don't wait. Visit PellaWI.com today to get started.
I'll ask my question of Tausch next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Don't miss a moment of the basketball tournament action this March at 3rd Street Market Hall. Home to your one-stop, must-stop viewing destination. 3rd Street Market Hall has over 20 locally owned food vendors, a 30 self-serve beer wall, over 50 HD TVs, plus game day specials. The perfect place to work remotely or catch a game between meetings or over lunch. 3rd Street Market Hall is your downtown home for basketball this March.
Need a quick, delicious way to fuel your day? Try one of our new protein power plays from Cousin Subs. Power ham, power turkey, power club, power tuna. 4 craveable 5-inch subs on freshly baked Italian bread. Packed with protein, up to 33 grams. All for just $7.99 for a limited time. It's the flavor you love with the fuel you need. Grab a protein power play in store, online, or on the Cousin Subs app today. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Mark Tausch here, and you know I love a smart play from the pocket. That's why I joined UW Credit Union. With their mobile banking app, I can make smart plays from anywhere. And with rewards checking perks like early payday, I score my money sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and make the smart play by becoming a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
An uninspired cookie-cutter trade show booth is unlikely to move the needle.
Picture this. Lights, motion, energy, engagement. A space so bold it stops people mid-step.
That's what the award-winning team at Captivate Exhibits has been delivering for over 30 years.
From high-impact trade show exhibits to immersive lobbies, history walls, and culture-driven interiors, Captivate transforms ordinary square footage into unforgettable brand experiences.
Get started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
One of the most important concepts in sports is don't drop the ball. Are you dropping the ball with your estate plan? When was it last updated? Have you even done one at all? It's ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde for Walney Legal Group. There's a lot at stake for you and your family when it comes to wills, trusts, probate, and elder planning. At Walney Legal, that's all they do. Tailored documents. No confusing legal jargon. Just thoughtful guidance. Do the blocking and tackling to protect your family. Start a conversation today at WalneyLegal.com.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
An open house like no other, our Siding Unlimited and Outdoor Living Unlimited open house brings in product reps so you can see, touch, feel the product, and talk to the manufacturer reps directly from Pella, Sunrise, Marvin Windows and Doors, LP SmartSide, Certainteed Roofing, TimberTech Decking, County Pavers, and Screen Rooms. Everything is here for your next project at one place, one time on Saturday, April 25th from 9 to 1 p.m. Details at sidingunlimited.com and outdoorlivingunlimited.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
So, Tausch, you praised Goody's transparency on that 1.5, 1.6. I'm assuming when he talks to us before the draft, it'll be down to 1.4 or 1.3 players from each draft that get a second contract. That's fine, right? And I the draft and replace, I do think it's accurate. I wasn't just being snarky when I said it. I think it's true that that's the mentality. But what does it say that we went through that list and there's not even guys that you're like super tempted to extend right away, right? It is different. And you can say, well, that's not our mentality anymore, right? We don't sign the John Runyon Juniors for being solid players to extensions. We don't do that. But that's not our strategy anymore.
Except for Sean Ryan, because they were forced to.
Right, because let's be honest, they benched him at one point during the season. Like, they basically found themselves in a position where he was a reasonably priced alternative to diving into the center free agent market, and they didn't have enough draft picks coming up in this draft where they could draft a guy with the other holes they have and expect them to come in and start right away.
And you don't want to have a center starting as a rookie either. So, yeah.
Right. So I guess my question is, because you have been honest about how your view of Goody has shifted slightly of late, but like, you would like to have guys on the list where you would say, you know what, in the old days they would extend him, but now they don't. And I don't even see that many guys on the list that fill in that category. Like Sean Ryan, like, again, this is a guy that got the 3-year deal, but it also felt like, as we talked about many times over the last 3 years, they're always looking for a reason to replace him. Like, he was the guy that was always rotating with Jordan Morgan or whatever it might be. So have their drafts not been good enough that on top of their change in philosophy leaves them with what I view as a good roster for starting, but not a lot of depth?
Well, how would you answer that question?
I would say that it's an indictment of the general manager that they don't have more guys that you're tempted to sign to an extension, whether you want to do it or not. Because your philosophy has changed, that's fine. But, like, Luke Musgrave should be a guy that you're like, you know what? I'm not sure if we're going to pay him, but he has played well enough that he deserves an extension if we were doing things the old way. And he has not done enough where you feel like we would be tempted to pay him in the old days. That's an example.
It obviously, you look at Goody's drafts. The Jordan Love draft, Jordan Love obviously has been a really good player, and I think the long-term lookout for him is very strong, and you're paying him $55 million. That was a really good draft pick. I think most people are going to look, but even then, you know, you could ask, well, did that hinder your chances to win in 2020 and 2021? And if you wanted to look at it, and if you got a primetime player, that could have helped. But the bottom line is, I want to draft and develop. I want to have 8 or 9 draft picks, and I'd love to sign at a minimum 3. I don't like the 1.5. I like that he told us that's what he wants.
Right.
But if you're doing that, that means you're not drafting good enough, or you're not drafting good enough players that you feel you should want guys in year 4 to year 8. And I understand if you had Tucker Kraft, Micah Parsons, and Jordan Love all in the same draft class, you should be so blank and happy. But then you would have to look long and hard and say, can I pay all 3 of these top dollar at the same time?
Sure.
That's a problem we all want to have.
Right.
What you don't want to have is, I don't know, Lucas Van Ness, do we want to pay him? I don't know. Like, you should be almost religiously saying, I'm going to put the guy in the 5th-year option. That should be... If out of 5 drafts, you should hope at a minimum you're going to do 3 of those, maybe 4. He hasn't done that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I know Devontae Wyatt, he did. Quay Walker, he didn't. That's tough. That means you're not hitting on enough, or you're not hitting at the level that you're looking for. So that's part of it. But really, my downside on Goody has been how his approach on the offensive line. I still think he's built the defense, especially with the trade and the acquisition of Micah Parsons. I think he's done well in that regard. But the offensive line and what he's been able to do, it was not good enough the last 2 years. And he, I believe, overreached and overreacted to a bad playoff game against Philadelphia. And he went big, which I love. Hey, swing big. That's what Packer fans have been asking for. Anyone that's saying that he hasn't, you're not watching. But in that same respect, you got to hit. And in some of those cases, they have not. And when you don't, you're paying big money. You're also setting the locker room. I'm telling you, the locker room likes when you sign guys that have earned their contract extensions. But Goody has felt like that hasn't been the case, and that's his right. And we'll see if that pans out, because for all of the criticism and what I've said about the offensive line, I do think last year, even with a group that did not run block well and gave some stuff up late in the season, this team was trending in a direction that I felt was championship caliber until that day in Denver. So all of that said, he realizes he needs to get this group better. I would be shocked if he doesn't utilize an early pick on someone that's going to be able to help solidify some things. But this comes down to you better coach these boys up, and you're going to have to be a lot better than you were if you want to have the type of season that I know Brian Gutekunst is looking for.
So, we've said that now about a couple of positions over the last couple of weeks. Well, you're gonna draft someone, and you're gonna need someone to come in and, like, he has 7 picks right now. If he doesn't trade back and accumulate more picks, it would be the smallest draft class of his career. He does not have a first-round pick, which has not happened for the Green Bay Packers since 1986. Like, I think that might have been even before Don Majkowski was even drafted. I just wonder if you're concerned at all about their ability to put together a deep enough roster that can survive some injuries, because I still stand by everything I said about losing Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons. But let's say you keep those 2 guys healthy, but you have injuries in other places where you don't have a lot of depth either. That can be just as troublesome, not to the degree of having 2 stars that are sidelined, but certainly that if your offensive line is having to play Donovan Jennings and Jacob Monk at some point in the season, you think you were unhappy with their offensive line the last couple of years. Imagine how you're going to feel about that offensive line in about week 12 if that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, he needs to have a good draft, and I think the draft has snuck up on us. Obviously, last year it was in Green Bay, and everybody was excited. This year it's in Pittsburgh, and it seems a little sleepy. We know who the first overall pick is. There's not a ton of other quarterbacks, so it's not as sexy of a draft. Mm-hmm. But you need to find at least 1, if not 2, quality starting players for this upcoming season. And then you need to add some depth. Yeah, you can't have a bad draft. You can't. You spent big, you spent draft capital, and that makes, I think why Goody was hesitant, but he pulled the trigger on it, was you realize you want to have as many bites at that apple to get players in a 3rd and 4th round picks that can be key contributors to your football team. This is a big-time draft for Goody. He needs to add some really quality players to this roster, and if he doesn't, then these guys that were hurt last year, it's even more imperative to stay healthy, because you're leaning on 4 or 5 stars to really carry the load. And if you get chipped away like you did last year, we were not in position to overcome it. That was abundantly clear. You're going to be in a worse case unless you replenish with some young players that can play.
And by the way, draft and develop, now we're talking about, okay, well, we're putting expectations on this draft of you need to draft people that are going to come in and play right away for you too, right? Like, say what you want about whether Matthew Golden was unhappy or not. Matthew Golden not coming in and having an impact right away was not a major drain on their offense because they had other wide receivers.
He needs to be the guy next year.
But he definitely needs to be the guy now. Yeah, I agree. But, like, what you would love is to get bonuses out of your rookies who contribute. But, again, this goes back to the other Goody theory, right? And he talked about it in 2023. Play those guys, live with their growing pains in the first half of the season, and then they come out on the other side in the second half of the season as fully formed players. We ain't interested in
Kirk Cameron and Alan Thicke and that crew. Like that, those days are over.
Yeah.
That's a growing pains
Joanna
reference.
Kearns.
Jesse.
Oh.
There's no more growing pains. Like those days are gone. We are in a win now, built to win now scenario, and if you don't, and I know Packer fans will be skeptical. What are you going to do? Just give them more extensions? I do think the Packers, while they're talking about financials and everything else, this doesn't go well. I don't think Mr. Policy is not going to sit back and say we're fine with a 6-11 season. That
right? And I don't think they're a 6-11 team. Okay, I'm not saying that. I am saying that I don't think they're a deep team.
My point is, if you have the same injuries as you did last year, this is going to get away from you. You don't have a backup quarterback that you trust and believe in like you did with Malik Willis. Guys are a year older. So Yeah, I agree. If everybody comes back healthy, this team is going to be right where they want to be. But if they're not, you're already talking about missing games with Micah. Maybe Kraft to be back. I don't know.
Maybe Zach Tom.
Zach Tom and Devontae Wyatt, I think, will be back, but he's coming off of stuff. Like, there's a lot of guys that you're counting on to be hugely high snap count guys. They're going to need to be high snap count guys. And the higher your snap count, the more likely you are that something comes up. And you're just going to be ill-afforded. All teams can't afford to lose their big guns. Green Bay did it last year, and we didn't win a game after they did. And that's banking on Christian Watson staying healthy for 17 weeks. That's a big ask for someone that has not done that. There's a lot of guys that you're banking on big-time minutes, big-time snap counts that need to be big-time players in a league that is getting we don't even know what the schedule is going to look like. If you're talking about a lot of Thursday, Friday game, all of those things build you to have more depth. Unless Green Bay hits home runs or I'm missing something, this depth is less than what it was last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I don't think we saw any of the guys that walked out the door in free agency as, I can't believe they let that guy go. But when you lose 4 players who played, those guys played
and you're
a ton of
asking
football
these guys to then elevate, the guys that are replacing him to elevate in, and who's going to replace him. Now, there's always those questions in today's NFL. Guys are going to have to develop and get better, and you better look at those last 2 draft classes. Who are the guys you're going to be really leaning on to elevate their game? Is that going to be good enough? That's the question.
The question next is, what does Jesse have for us in Wonelli? Wilde Tausch rolls on.
This is Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Thinking about buying or building a new home? Start with a mortgage pre-approval from Great Midwest Bank and experience a state of tranquility. At Great Midwest Bank, we offer fast approvals and flexible options with experienced loan officers who understand the local market, because they live here too. Whether you're breaking ground for new construction or buying that dream home just around the corner, we'll guide you every step of the way. Bank with confidence and start your journey at GreatMidwestBank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
What if your screens could disappear until you needed them? Meet Pella's 250 series vinyl windows with the accordion hidden screen. Designed to give you a clearer view with 44% more light than conventional screens. The hidden screen appears when the window opens to let in fresh air, then tucks away when you don't need it, giving you a clearer view that's beautiful, practical, and even easier to clean. Order today and get 0% interest until 2030. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirits deals in town. Located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action.
The Brewers got it done on the road, taking 2 out of 3 games from the Kansas City Royals over the weekend. Gary Sanchez got the offense going in the rubber match, launching his 3rd home run of the year to put the Brewers up 3-0.
And Sanchez, a blast to left. Lofton's back. Track. Bye-bye baseball. The Kraken goes deep. and the Brewers lead it 3-0.
The Crew would go on to win by a final score of 8-5. Up next, the Brewers head to Fenway Park for a 3-game set against the Boston Red Sox. I'm Will Summers.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike at the nation's largest bike sale. I'm Amelia Kegel with Wheel and Sprocket, and our Bike Expo sale is back at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds this weekend inside the Expo building. Electric bikes, road bikes, cargo bikes, mountain bikes, kid bikes, hybrid bikes, all on display and ready to ride. So whether you're seeking health and wellness, adventure and fun, or just a new hobby, the path to your new journey leads to the Bike Expo sale. And remember, all of our bikes come with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, which means you can ride it for 30 days. And if you don't love it, we'll refund your money.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike. Friday noon to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 11 to 5 inside the Expo Center. Visit bikeexposale.com for details. Admission is free.
Life is short. We'll see you at the Bike Expo.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
It is time. Oh, did you see this? Dexter Lawrence, the All-Pro. I don't know if we got the cash and the resources to go do this, but he's requested a trade. He is I think he's the guy that busted up Rogers' thumb out in London, right? I don't remember if that was him. I'll have to fact check that. But he's a really good player. Yeah, it's not going to happen with Green Bay, but that would be the type of player we'd love to see.
Without the draft
disruptor. Yeah, disruptor. You have to pay him a ton of money and give up picks. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Other than that, though, pretty good deal. Maybe Jerry Jones will acquire him. Time now for Won't Ellie.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Although I'll tell you, you trade a Lucas Van Ness, you give up a second. The Packers have cap money. I think I saw they still have $22 million in cap space, and you know Russ Ball knows what he's doing.
Sure, but if if you have to trade for someone, what capital do they have at this point? Like they're kind of like the Bucks.
No,
we're going to trade the
37
first-round pick for Dexter Lawrence.
Well, I don't think you're not going to give up a first-round pick. I think Dexter Lawrence is older. I don't think he's going to get a first-round pick. If he does, obviously you can't do it, but I would love to see Green Bay make a play like that. I'd have to look at how old D. Lawrence is, but the problem...
28. He'll be 29 on November 12th.
All right. That's over. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly!
We are 1 hour away from history, folks. 12:46 p.m. Central Time today. Astronauts orbiting around the moon will venture further into space than any human.
Or do you think this is not happening?
What? This?
Are they faking this too, Jesse?
I never said they were faking going around the moon.
And just for the record, you've taken a lot of heat. I want people to be skeptical. There's way too many people in this country that are not skeptical. Continue.
You did have to issue a statement at the end of that show after Tausch left.
I said not landing on the moon this time lends credence to those who believe that we never went to the moon at all.
It did sound like you didn't believe that we never went at all. You found the video to be unconvincing, I believe you said.
It's weird that they would go drive around Disneyland instead of go to Disneyland.
It was weird that they had an MTV flag that they put in there. That was the part that was weird.
A lot of weird things going on.
And now MTV doesn't even exist, so what does that mean?
Today is the day, though. They are going around the moon today. Today is the history.
The dark side of the moon?
Yes. Farther than they have ever ventured, than anyone has ever ventured, humankind in space.
Is this what, like, Bezos' wife and all those guys, when they went up, is that similar to what they're doing?
This is 4 NASA astronauts in the Orion
no, but you know what
shuttle.
I'm saying when they had that, when they went up in that little pod.
Yeah, Blue Origin.
It was like a,
yes,
it was like a 3-minute ride. And they're like, oh, yeah, we saw the moon. No big deal.
Plane rides into space. Yeah, that was supposed to be a big thing a few years back. Ventured away from those. So they're going around the moon. They're taking pictures of the moon. They're relaying information about the moon that we've never seen before. They will be without communication for 40 minutes when they are on the furthest point on the opposite side of the moon, when it's directly interfering with any communication to the satellites that get back to NASA on Earth. Like, this is a big deal today. We've never been. Apollo 13 was the last. That's the record for farthest from Earth humans have ever gone before. And today we're breaking the record.
What are we, as you like to now put, what are we trying to get out? Like, what's your goal?
I'm sharing this information with you as a hope that for those who are not informed on the historic day of humankind that we are experiencing
today. This was marketed really poorly. I didn't know anything about, and I'm on social media more than I should be. I didn't know anything about it until they launched. There was no prelude to it. Like,
yeah.
Can I get like a documentary? Like, can't they push some stuff out so that I'm intrigued and I'm all in on this? This was a really poorly managed rollout. Now it's intriguing. I heard that the pooper was plugged, and then it was too cold, so they had to try to tip it so that the sun would melt it, so they could use the pooper.
I have to admit, I missed that part of the story.
Whoa, Nelly!
It is. I'm glad you brought that up because I saw watching.
You like to talk about poop.
Watching the
there's these porta potties. There's a guy that puts his name is John, and I'm not going to give out free advertising, but he's got his mug right on the old pooper.
Using the John.
Yeah.
Whoa, Nelly!
They are making on HBO Max or whatever they call it now. They're making an entire docuseries about the making of the new Harry Potter series that doesn't come out until December 25th, Christmas Day. And we've already got a docuseries about them making that. How did we not have anything leading up to a record-setting historic space mission?
Maybe there's something
on the makings of the mission.
But they should have put it out before. I couldn't agree more. Terrible marketing.
It's like all of a sudden ABC News one day is like, hey, by the way, we're going to the moon tomorrow. It's like the best mission ever.
It literally popped up like, oh,
stuck up on you like the draft.
Whoa, Nelly!
So you're not at all interested in what they're doing going around the moon, it seems. You're like, what's the point? I don't know.
No, I just said if I had known more about it, I'd be more intrigued. I think it's awesome that they're doing it.
Well, now I'm telling you about it, and you're still like, they should have said more.
Yeah, because that's how I feel. I think it's awesome that they're up there doing whatever they're doing. I think, I know Elon is talking about colonizing or moving people up there.
Base.
I'm intrigued to learn more about what all goes on up there. Absolutely.
Well, today we find out.
Well, I don't know. We're getting pictures. I don't know if we're going to learn.
And they're going to, they're it's like radio baseball play-by-play.
Oh, they're going to give us.
They're like Lane Grindle and Josh Mowering at what they're seeing as they go around the moon. You can stream it on NASA.
What if there's like a huge game, like an NFL game, or like there's aliens or whatever it would be, and they're playing something up there? Will they end up getting into? We see people, and then will they like change their orbit to go over there and say what's up? Like how does that all play out? We don't know if there's stuff up there, right?
If they see a guy waving from the moon.
Tom Hanks is over there with SOS spelled out because his last trip on his plane, he ended up trying to take that package that they should have made a sequel out of from Castaway, and it was up at the moon.
Well, we know if you're driving the shuttle, no stops.
True that.
Sorry, we'll come back for you, Tom.
Catch you later.
Okay.
Whoa, Nelly!
UConn, Michigan tonight also, if you're not interested in the space thing. Big game, national championship. By the way, Wisconsin and Marquette, both winners against the two teams playing in the national championship tonight. How about that? Congrats to Wisconsin and Marquette.
Another
Wins this season.
Yep.
Against both teams, played in the championship game.
And wait till Marquette has John Blackwell next year. All right, we'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Break.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
Named by me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Beautiful day for Brewers baseball. Brats in one hand, your Brewers checking card from Associated Bank is in the other. And with a tap, it's 20% off gear at the Brewers team store. An express entry so you can tailgate longer. And up to 50% off home game tickets. All that power, all for the crew. Only with Brewers checking from Associated Bank. Join the crew at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhardt Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritware is vital. That's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritware from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhardt.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
You know, I mean, your home is about as personal as it gets, right?
We want to build a relationship with homeowners, not only educating them, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us.
Yeah, the interview goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Getting to know people while also serving them. It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
Besides that, it's just the right thing to do. See how Big Fish Contracting is renovating homes and redeeming an industry at bigfishcontracting.com.
2026 Brewers Group tickets are on sale now, and planning your next event at American Family Field has never been easier. Whether it's a company outing, family reunion, or night out with friends, bring your group of 15 or more to the ballpark and enjoy up to 25% off single game tickets with no service fees. All Brewers home games are available now. Start planning today, and a Brewers Group ticket rep will handle the rest. But hurry, tickets are moving fast. Plan your 2026 outing at brewers.com/groups.
Ben Brust here, and let's cut the crap. I've been sold the lie with sportswear too. You pay a fortune for big name gear, a fancy logo, and a slogan, and it still stinks. Then I found Iron Jock, and now it's all I wear. It's built on science. Their silver ion technology is woven right into the fabric. It kills 99.9% of odor-causing bacteria, and it never washes out, ever. Get yours today at ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com.
When you're getting married, the rings matter. There's something you wear for a lifetime. That's why my fiance and I went to Paul's Jewelers. Paul's Jewelers specializes in custom jewelry for life's biggest moments. Lab-grown or natural diamonds, great pricing, and a lifetime warranty, so your jewelry can be refurbished, repaired, or refitted anytime down the road. Their team made the entire process easy and stress-free. I can't wait to show off my wedding band after our big day. Create your masterpiece today by visiting Paul's Jewelers in West Allis.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
1, Tune in all season right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
It was a long and winding road today. We covered a lot of ground. Tausch, anything that we didn't get to that you were wishing we had?
Yeah, I want to switch the women's championship and men's. I'd like the women's to be Sunday, and I'd also like the men's to be Sunday, and kind of a almost lead-in to have both. So if they want to do theirs at 2 or 3, great.
Like
and if the men wants to do theirs, I think it should have been last night, rather than always trying to shove it down our Monday throats, both football and I understand why football has to do it. Basketball, we don't need a Monday night starting at 9 o'clock. Like, do it on Sunday. Have it at 5 or 6 like you do at the NFC Championship games. It's a great viewing time. Do both on Sundays. Friday, Sunday.
I'm glad I asked. That's a really good idea. And we're out of time. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde Tausch? Presented.
Got your tax refund? Before it mysteriously disappears, invested in something you'll actually see every day. Your home. At Exterior Pros and Baths, turn that refund into energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath remodel. And they'll take it even further with $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during the April savings event. But don't wait. This offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
I had nightmares at my birth mom's house. It was really scary living there. There were always drugs in the house. The police came, and that's when I was placed into foster care.
Right now in the U.S., more than 100,000 children, like Ariana, are waiting for a family.
Once I was adopted, I definitely felt safe.
Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find permanent homes for children in foster care. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6.